Minibus taxis have been barred from operating for 30 days on 10 routes along this corridor due to a dispute between rival taxi associations CATA and Codeta. The tensions between the Cape's two biggest taxi associations have led to the deaths and injuries of several people, including passengers, in the recent weeks. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
The shutdown of some taxi routes in Khayelitsha, Mfuleni, Somerset West, Nomzamo and Lwandle from today will severely impact thousands of taxi users from these areas. Western Cape Transport authorities have roped in Metrorail and Golden Arrow bus service to provide additional capacity and meet the needs of commuters. PRASA Regional Manager Raymond Massacre says they are ready to fill in the gaps.
It is an understanding that we have with all of the public transport operators, including the taxis. That's the same thing that happens when we as PRASA are unable to fulfill our responsibilities. As it were, since COVID, the taxis had closed the gap.
Massacre adds that they'll try to have trains as frequent as possible to avoid running overcrowded trains. Ndotozelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
The Water and Sanitation's Department says the failure of municipalities to supply its ratepayers with water is affecting revenue generation. Deputy Minister Selosi Tlolo says the department is working around the clock to try and resolve the water supply problems, particularly in the country's northern provinces. Parliament has heard that the financial problems of many of the affected municipalities also stems from poor billing systems and inaccurate property valuation rules. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The Water and Sanitation Department has adopted a carrot and stick approach to get municipalities to pay their debts to water boards by withholding quarterly funding from the National Treasury. Portfolio Committee Chairperson Leon Besson says the water supply problems are also exacerbating municipalities' ability to generate revenue, particularly from those who can afford to pay for services but are not receiving them. Deputy Minister Selo Sehlolo says he will be meeting with Rand Water soon to understand the supply problems in the high-lying areas.
I don't think we can afford as a department to now isolate ourselves from the situation anymore. That is why we're making these amendments to the principal legislations of the department so that we can be able to have far greater intervention powers.
Director General Sean Phillips says municipalities are being advised to insource the provision of water from tankers to limit expenditure and curb the sabotage of infrastructure. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
In the courts now, investigations into the case of a Midrand couple accused of sexual exploitation have been finalised, but an indictment can only be served once bail matters have been resolved. Darren Wilkin and Tiona Moodley returned to the dock in the Randburg Magistrates Court yesterday. Moodley has lodged an appeal after her initial bail application was denied earlier this year. Prosecutor Elise Leroux requested that the case be postponed to allow Moodley's bail issues to be addressed.
In the meantime, as soon as the indictment becomes available, we will be serving the defence with a copy thereof in order to make their arrangement. Both accused are in custody if that may remain the same. I'm not sure my colleagues will address.
And in the U.S., the man accused of fatally shooting U.S. activist Charlie Kirk has been formally charged with aggravated murder and 6 other charges. Tyler Robinson appeared virtually from jail before a judge at an initial hearing, with the next court date set for September 29th. Officials say Robinson was radicalized online and the motive for the killing was a hatred for Kirk. Kirk was shot and killed while hosting an event at a Utah college last week. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray confirmed during a press conference that they are seeking the death penalty in this case.
The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide.
Gold is trading at $3,693.05 an ounce. The rand is at 17.34 to the dollar, 23.67 to the pound, 20.57 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.44 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 North between Boysons Road and the Crown Interchange. That's due to peak time delays piling up there. While in the city of Tshwane, we've got an accident reported in Mountain View along the R80 East Mabopane Highway just as you approach Eskiem Pahlele exit. It's already causing delays.
In your sport, Marazan Cup and Tasman Brits score centuries in the Proteas' 8-wicket win over Pakistan in a first ODI. Arsenal, Real Madrid, Spurs and Union all win their opening Champions League games, while Juventus got a late equaliser. Sekakone beat Chiefs 3-1 to go top of the Premiership table, and Zakiti Nenes qualified for the men's 400-metre final at the World Athletics Champs. That takes place tomorrow.
A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng today. Johannesburg starting at lows of 8 degrees, peaking at 27. Pretoria 10 and 29, and Vereeniging 9 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: strict security measures have been put in place ahead of the much anticipated start of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 6 o'clock, you're listening to 702 Breakfast on this 17th of September. The year of our Lord, 2025. Are you in Fourways? Are you in Montana Park? Are you in Orange Grove, Orlando, Rivonia, Roslyn? Are you in Florida? Are you in Letabile? Doesn't matter. Wherever you are around the world, we aim to bring you the news of the world. We aim to make sense of it. You can make decisions accordingly. We'll tell you why it matters and how it affects you. As always, I'm with a fantastic team behind the scenes. So we're playing dressy today. If you ever needed a reason to watch our YouTube channel, Amo, you look stunning today.
Thank you. Morning, Bongani.
You are wearing this pencil skirt number, high heels, this print top, gorgeous earrings, your makeup on point.
Thank you.
Muteo, it's good to see you.
Great to see you, Bongani. That's all to
Good
it.
to have you here on the program.
At least to Kezile. Have fun.
It is, of course, a Wednesday, so it's a corporate that cares Wednesday. And when the big CEOs come into the studio, we like to look more than just the voices of radio. You know, when people say you look like you should, you've got a face for radio. We want to do a little bit more than that. So you can check us out live on our YouTube channel. Hope you're feeling good. It's a big day today. It's a big news day.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
10 after 6. So on our menu today, we start with the Africa Report. And what we try to do with the Africa Report is to bring you stories that you perhaps wouldn't otherwise hear elsewhere. And today we're focusing on an extraordinary conviction in Zambia. 2 men jailed for 2 years for trying to bewitch the president. KG is laughing here, and now he's shocked at himself that he laughed. But that is the reaction, right? I laughed when I saw the story. I thought, what do you mean? It's one thing for Clement Manyatela to tell us witchcraft is a thing. No shade. It's quite another to convict people and send them to jail for witchcraft. We'll explain, because we're going to be speaking to Dr. Gankanani Moyo, who is a lecturer in cultural heritage at the University of Zambia. This is, by the way, a true story. And then something we've all got to think long and hard about. Lifestyle diseases like diabetes, right? Like high blood pressure are increasingly more common even in our children. 225 people die every day from cardiovascular related issues in South Africa. Now, even if we could employ all the cardiologists we need to look after our population and heart disease, we know we don't have the money to do so. And we certainly know we don't have the equipment and the hospitals to do so. So could artificial intelligence be a game changer? And could we once again be forced by circumstances to be ahead of the rest of the world? We know, of course, the first heart transplant happened here in South Africa. So we're no strangers to being ahead, or at least the pace setters. The pacemakers for the rest of the world. All right, I'll stop. Big interview today with Dr. David Yankelov, who is a clinical cardiologist. And of course, the big story, no doubt, all eyes are going to be on the Madlanga Commission. It's kicking off today. Corruption and political interference in the police under the microscope. And the star witness is going to be the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, testifying first as that inquiry opens in Pretoria. We'll speak to Oren Singh, who is going to be there for us. And as I say, it's another corporate that cares. Dylan Fernando, the Tracker CEO, will be with us in studio.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
One of the sad stories, of course, yesterday afternoon has got to be the passing away of the veteran Hollywood actor and leading man, Robert Redford. How many of these movies have I seen? My goodness me. So many Robert Redford films over the years. I want you to listen to a clip we found from the 1972 film The Candidate, where he's portraying Bill McKay, an idealistic young lawyer deeply committed to civil rights, legal aid, and environmental issues. And all of those, of course, were concerns and passions that the actor Robert Redford cared about even off screen. It's a pivotal social welfare speech scene. McKay agreeing to run for the U.S. Senate and delivering this passionate call for change.
I think the time has come when the American people realize that we're in this together and that we sink or swim together. And I say to you, maybe, just maybe, that that's the way it should be. A test of our courage, of our compassion, our faith in ourselves, and our faith in our country. No candidate can come before you and say that he's got all the answers. All a man can say is, here I am. And that's what I say to you tonight. Here I am. I'm willing to give it all I've got. Let's make a beginning.
Fantastic speech there, fantastic scene. A river runs through it, the way we were. I'm trying to think of all the Robert Redford movies I have seen.
All the President's Men.
All the President's Men, yes, absolutely. What's the one with Meryl Streep, Out of Africa? So many. Even, of course, much later in life, the one with Demi Moore, Indecent Proposal, 1994. If you were around, you might remember that movie. It was salacious at the time. Remembering Robert Redford.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
And as always, we've got a shout out. It's 6:15. This is where we ask a question that has some relevance for the news cycle, and we'll tell you why we're asking it in just a moment. But if you could have a public figure, real or fictional, right? Historical, dead or alive, defend you. Say your name was being tarnished in some way. Your reputation was being torn to shreds in some way. So it doesn't have to be a legal eagle, right? I think I posed the question to Africa Melane, and he, without thinking about it, said, of course, Advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi, which I thought, yeah, absolutely, fair enough. As far as legal eagles are concerned, I think you want someone like Moses Kakane in your corner, right? But it doesn't have to be a legal person. Muteo Haripa, who would you want to stand up for you on a public platform?
On a public platform?
Yeah, speak up for you. Okay, it doesn't have to be a public platform.
I think the team at Boston Legal.
Denny Crane,
your Ellen Shaws, I think would have been a great team. That particular team would have done it for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Ellen Shaw, yeah, okay. I see Ellen Shaw. Amo?
Mine is a very simple one. Anelim Doda. There's this recent post she put on IG, Instagram, right? And she said, I won't be remembered as a girl who sat down and kept quiet, and that's okay. And that for me was enough for a person who is able to stand for others and it's okay. So if my name gets tarnished somehow, and wrongfully though, I know that if she represents me, if she says something online, just as simple as that, it will hold water.
It will hold water. I think for me, the journalist Mehdi Hassan, the broadcaster, international journalist Mehdi Hassan, wouldn't mind him in my corner if the need came. We'll tell you why we're asking that question coming up. So for you, public figure, historical figure, fictional figure, dead or alive, if you needed someone to be in your corner, to stand up for you, who would it be? Tell us why.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
One of the big stories, of course, yesterday also emerging was the possibility of parole for Donovan Moodley. This is, of course, the killer of Lee Matthews. You may remember in 2022, we interviewed the father of Lee Matthews, Rob Matthews, and he's always contended that it's not so much that he wants Donovan Moodley to spend the rest of his life in jail, although I suppose he would also welcome that. But one of the big problems Rob Matthews has always contended was that he doesn't think Donovan Moodley told the entire story. You'll remember, of course, the parents of Lee Matthews paid that 50,000 Rand ransom, but from where her body was found, it is difficult for Rob Matthews to believe Donovan Moodley acted alone. And he doesn't think we know the full story of what happened to his daughter. Have a listen to our interview with Rob Matthews in 2022.
Bongani was surreal. We sat and listened to his side of the story, and at one stage he says to us, he thought he was very sad and thought about Lee when he was at his graduation, knowing that she would never graduate. Now, how does somebody make that statement to the parents of the person you've murdered? So there's something really wrong with him. There's something really wrong in the process, and one wonders, can people like that ever be rehabilitated? It just was surreal.
Right? So he's now graduating, Donovan Moodley, because he was alive to do it, and he has a moment of reflection where he thinks, oh man, Lee Matthews would never be able to graduate. That's the killer. How do you reconcile that? It's almost and I'm no psychologist or psychiatrist, but there's almost some psychopathy going on there, right? You kill someone, you get to you have an opportunity that she will never have, and at that moment you are reflecting on how she's not here to enjoy hers. Rub it in your face, which is practically what Rob felt this man was doing. And he said he doesn't think that Donovan Moodley could ever be rehabilitated.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Mutel, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, what still keeps you going to shopping malls? Is it the entertainment? The kids want you to go there? Is it dining? Or is
grocery shopping?
Retail therapy? Oh.
Grocery shopping. It's not the same. The delivery apps, whether it's 6060 or Uber Eats, whichever one you use, for me, they're for little emergencies, 4 or 5 items. Oh, I'm about to cook something. Oh, flip, I've run out of this. I've run out of that. It'll be here in 40 minutes. That's what those delivery apps are for me.
Which anchor tenant that mall has? Which
retailer? Yes.
Okay.
If you don't have certain shops, sorry.
Not going.
Like, really, what's the point?
Yeah, definitely groceries as well as kids' clothes, because sometimes if you buy things online, I don't want to go through the hardships of taking a thing back because it doesn't fit. So I'd rather
You want to absolutely make sure.
I want to make sure. Yeah, I don't want to do third takes, because sometimes you need something at that particular moment for that weekend. You won't have the time for the exchanges. So for the kids' clothes, definitely.
Right. What keeps you going to malls? I'm not a big fan of malls, just by the way.
If you didn't have
one
to
of those
eat.
things, it's just one of those things I think is a necessary evil.
702.
Weather.
21 after 6. Conditions in Johannesburg will be really just a fine day for Gauteng. Temperatures in Jozi 8 to 27. Pretoria 10 and 29. Vereeniging 9 and 25. Cape Town cloudy with a light northwesterly, a high of 14. 21 for Mbombela, 22 for Bloemfontein. A cloudy day in Durban, peaking at 20 degrees. Gqeberha in East London, 19. Kimberley, 23.
Morning, Bongs. Good show as always. I'm always looking forward to your to your intro, especially when you're greeting Muteo. It always kills me, eh? Have a great day, guys. You always makes our day the best ones, the best of the best. Thank you.
EWN.
22 minutes after 6 o'clock. It's all in good fun, by the way. Muteo is a big boy. He can handle it. Amo, as stunning as you look, tell us about the traffic.
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident, unfortunately, in Germiston on the N12 West. It's right after Barbara Road. It's causing heavy delays already. And there's also queuing traffic on the Mike 1 North between Boysons Road and Carr Street. This is peak time delays there. Traveling in the city of Tshwane, Mountain View, that accident along the R80 East is still there near the Eskom Pahlele exit. It's also slowing down traffic. Please be on the lookout there. We'll have more updates for you coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You are the poster child, the biggest saver we've ever had.
I decided that I would contact our children and let them work out what they could do for me.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, big saving. 2,794 Rand a month.
That's over 33,000 Rand a year.
And it was the easiest switch ever. Real people helping real people get real deals.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Let's rewind 6 years, when Twitter was still Twitter, not a letter of the alphabet. TikTok was simply the sound your clock made. And Zoom just meant enlarging a picture. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
Backed by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On the next Money Show, Aubrey Tau, the businessman behind Tau Foods and the force behind Moja Love, joins us this week as the shapeshifter. He'll talk to us about his entrepreneurial tenacity and addiction to shaking the status quo. Then Graham Codrington, a futurist and partner at Tomorrow Today, will be on Business Unusual, while consumer ninja Wendy Nola will be flexing muscles ready to fight for your consumer rights. All that and more on The Money Show.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show is brought to you by ABSA CIB, proud host of the Macro and Risk Management Conference 2025. ABSA is a registered FSP. Your story matters. 702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Mr. Bingwa, who do I want to represent me in a public space? Definitely Will Smith. Keep Tando's name off your mouth. One slap, done.
Oi, Tando. I'm going to guess that's your name, right? If that's what you would want. We're asking a question. If you were ever in trouble of any sort, who would you want to represent you, to defend you? Character real or imagined? Fictional or a real person, dead or alive? Let us know.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, it's 25 minutes after 6 o'clock. Things you need to know at this hour. Well, we are certainly keeping an eye on what's going to be unfolding in the Commission of Inquiry, looking into allegations of corruption in the police. One of the stories that has since emerged, though, is that Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who will be the first witness today, is suing the forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan for 5 million rand, claiming defamation over accusations involving a hit squad and a Louis Vuitton handbag. You may remember we spoke to Paul O'Sullivan on this show, and he made those very allegations earlier in the year. I'll play you a little clip from that when we spoke to forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan, who spoke about exactly these things. Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says he tried to reach out to try and get O'Sullivan to retract those statements. He's refused to do so, and so now he's suing him for 5 million rand. The Department of Defense has spent over 20 million rand in travel in the months between July 2024 and July 2025. This includes international trips, car hire, flights, accommodation, and shuttle services. Action SA has slammed this, saying it is not so subtle. And they're saying, obviously, in a department that is dealing with budget cuts, poor resources, unpaid allowances, whilst the ministers enjoy life in luxury. You may remember Songas Azibi telling us that some of the troops don't even have proper uniforms. And yet, what are officials doing? 20 million rand on international jaunts. Later in the Worldview with Adam Gilchrist, more than 20 children injured when a man sprayed tear gas at a primary school in Germany. And this is during a break. It's an absolutely insane world. 6 girls and 14 boys suffered breathing problems. Joburg has felt like skipping the spring, hasn't it? August and early September 2025 recording temperatures up to 3 degrees hotter than usual. Is it your sense? I mean, have you noticed that? This is what we're now hearing from the weather people, that actually, what spring are you talking about? We're fully in the swing of summer, it would feel like. Temperatures 3 degrees hotter than normal. How are you handling your water woes in that context? I went to bed last night. I couldn't do my evening night cream, night serum routine because there was no water, Amu. This is why I look so wrinkled this morning. On this day in 2011, Adele's Someone Like You hit #1 on the US singles charts.
Friend, why are you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it. I had hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
Oh man, this was such a song. You know, in the UK, it was voted that in the top 3 most beloved singles of the last 60 years, only behind Billie Jean and Bohemian Rhapsody. Doesn't it just give you the chills?
Imagine going through a breakup and this song is released.
You're not fair.
702.
The newspapers.
See why I'm mean to him, Bali?
I get it.
Thank you.
I totally get
Amma would never say anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the papers?
Well, I want to ask you a question this morning. How do you feel about, calls to get some historic elements removed in order for us to create, a different kind of history?
As somebody who studied history, gosh, it's always a conflicting one because it also depends on which side of history you're on, right? When people said, for example, Rhodes must fall and all of these statues, these monuments to colonialism, my inclination is to agree, but I also know, as somebody who did study history, we need evidence of what happened.
All sides of the story are necessary. I'm asking this question this morning because the Washington Post has a story. Trump orders removal of park exhibits about slavery. So the removals are in line with President Donald Trump's executive order wanting the Interior Department to eliminate any information that he says reflects a corrosive ideology that disparages historic Americans. So he's basically saying anything at a national park that depicts slavery or anything like that, I don't want to see it. We don't want, certain groups of Americans being, shunned or called words and names because they are said to have participated in slavery. I don't know if that's the American dream.
I don't think he understands the phrase, lest we forget, right? The front page of the Business Day, South African firms scale up Namibia operations, expansion into that country. Moment of truth, a picture of Denon Mkhwanazi on the front page of the Sowetan. And how can he walk? Lee Matthews' killer, Donovan Moodley on the front page of The Citizen.
EWN Business.
All right, Muteo is asking the simple question. What keeps you still going to shopping malls? Is it because you want to be there to spend your money physically, entertainment, dining? What prompts the question?
Bongani Real Estate Investment Trust Attack reported strong results yesterday. The firm says despite a tough economy and stretched budgets, households are still spending a lot of their money at shopping complexes. The Mall of Africa owner Attack says it's seen a massive rise in earnings for the 2025 financial year ending in June. Attack is a real estate investment trust that owns and operates Waterfall City in Midrand, Johannesburg, and is home to Mall of Africa and other industrial and residential commercial properties. The group's distributable income per share, which is a standard measure for the success of property firms, increased by 25.6% to 108 cents. The group's earnings per share also rose by 58.6%. In its first year, Mall of Africa recorded 13 million visitors. This was 2016, 1.3 million a day. Now, the mall is 10 years, believe it or not. According to Lightstone's data, Mall of Africa is one of the busiest shopping malls in the country, now valued at 5.6 billion rand.
And maybe I don't go there on weekends for obvious reasons, but one of the things I've always felt about the Mall of Africa is that it doesn't feel busy.
Yeah,
even if it
does.
might be, because it's so
space.
huge, right? Because it's so huge, it doesn't feel busy. Where's the rand? Is that busy?
17 rand 36, slightly weaker this morning against the dollar. 20 rand 58 cents against the euro. It's weaker there as well, while in the red against the British pound at 23 rand 68 cents. Price of gold $3,681 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,397. Brent crude at $68.37 a barrel. I'll have more business after 7.
Straight to the news desk we go. Mbali Dlamini, what you got at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. While the Special Investigating Unit has raised concern over state officials who resign while facing disciplinary action, SIU head Andy Mutibi says MPs need to look more closely at the country's labour laws and try to find a way to prevent officials from resigning before their disciplinary hearings have concluded. Mutibi was briefing Parliament's finance watchdog Scopa yesterday on the agency's investigations into the public sector. Babalondenze has more.
The Standing Committee on Public Accounts heard how the presidency recorded 44 dismissals from the public service, including municipal managers and directors, because of the SIU's work. The presidency also says there were 55 officials who resigned before their disciplinary cases were completed. SIU head Andy Motibi says this is a long-standing problem.
The resignations in the view of disciplinary actions has been an issue, and it really sort of continues to be because this is now the almost the gray area in the labor law, whether as an employer you can refuse somebody from resigning.
Motibi also says the state's overall disciplinary system has been found wanting, with conflicts of interest involving those who chair the hearings and those being disciplined. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
Let's stay in Parliament. Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says government saw no harm in the inclusion of non-government participants in the presidential delegation which visited the White House in May. Responding to parliamentary questions, Ntshavheni says the intention was to ensure the South African message covers a broad spectrum of views to dispel misinformation about an alleged white genocide in the country. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Minister Khumbudzo Ntshavheni says the government delegation of which she was a part was specifically chosen based on expertise, influence and relevance to the discussions. She says their participation was deemed beneficial to advancing South Africa's diplomatic and economic interests. Ntshavheni goes on to say that other members of the delegation, whom she does not name, but presumably are the golfers, were specifically invited by the US administration. She says government did not consider this request to be detrimental to its approach. However, Ntshavheni has pointed out that classified briefings were limited to those in government only. She said she could not speak on behalf of non-government actors who were part of the delegation, nor the utterances they made during that occasion. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
We move now to KZN, where the DA has praised King Misizulu Zwelithini's stance that young girls should not be subjected to marriages and forced romantic relationships. The Zulu monarch addressed the issue at the weekend at the annual Reed Dance ceremony held at the Emashobeni Royal Palace in Upongola. Addressing thousands of maidens who attended the ceremony, the Zulu monarch discouraged men from forcing girls into marriages. DA KZN leader Francois Rogers says this is a progressive call.
The King has made it clear that young women from the age of 16 and below shouldn't be entering into romantic relationships. And he also called on young women who are being harassed by men to report these perpetrators.
And in Brazil, police have arrested 45 people and rescued hundreds of exotic animals. The arrests form part of the biggest operation against wildlife traffickers in the country. Over 1,000 officers took part in the bust across Rio de Janeiro as well as other states. The crackdown followed a year-long investigation into the country's most prolific wildlife trafficking ring. Brightly colored birds like toucans, boxes of tortoises, monkeys and a python were among 700 rescued animals taken to a central facility to receive expert care. Wildlife trafficking is a major challenge in Brazil, with an estimated 38 million animals taken from the wild every year. In your weather, a fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng today. Lows of between 8 and 10 degrees and highs of between 25 and 29.
And in the traffic in Germiston, major accident seen along the N12 West. It's right near Barber Road. Delays coming out of Jet Park Road all the way towards Craft Road. Please be on the lookout there. If you're traveling on the N3 North, the peak time delays already between the Airlines Interchange and Motorfontein Road.
The top story in EWN, the Special Investigating Unit has raised concern over state officials who resign while facing disciplinary action.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
I'm Deirdre from Oakden. I've probably been listening to 702 for about 40 years. I listen most of the day, and I really can't imagine my life or my day without 702. I'm kept up to date with all the news, and I must say that I personally believe I hear the news before anybody else. When I hear it on 702, nobody else has heard it yet. And I'd just like to say, keep up the good work.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
This September, Joburg Theatre brings you a powerful mix of drama, music and dance. Dancing the Death Drill, adapted from Fred Khumalo's acclaimed novel, tells the tale of Pito Mutaung, a South African soldier forever changed by the tragic sinking of the SS Mendi. The cast features Kwenzo Ngobo, Tulita Bete and Clint Brink, with choreography by Luyanda Sidia and original music by Msaki. This is a story of love, loss and remembrance. Catch it from 9 to 28 September 2025 on the Mandela stage at Joburg Theatre. Dancing the Death Drill, a moment in history brought to life. Book now at joburgtheatre.com.
Time for a performance review of my FNP Gold business account. Giving my business up to 30% back in e-bucks at Pick n Pay. No other card does this. It's real money back on expenses. I can even use e-bucks to buy supplies from Take-A-Lot. I must give you a corner office, but you're a bank card.
The FNB Gold Business Account. No other card works harder for your business because saving you costs is worth it. FNB. Help changes everything. TCs and earn rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
The 12th edition of the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lottostar, is coming. The 20th, 21st of September, those 2 days, you get to experience unbeatable vibes. It's all part of Heritage Weekend at the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. So Saturday 20th, you can catch Don Tolliver, Questa, Ingabi Zezwe, and many more. Then Sunday the 21st, Ms. Lauren Hill. Special guests Wyclef Jean, YG, and Zion Marley. And of course, local icons Lira, Mandisi Yantis, Zoe, and so many others taking to the stage on the Sunday. So don't miss out and get your tickets today. Ticketmaster.co.za. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lottostar, proudly supported by 702. More info on deliciousfestival.com.
702.
What's up, Bongani? on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani and the listeners. For me, representation legally, I would go for the late Johnny Cochran. I remember the OJ's lawyer and his infamous statement, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. He was one of the best, definitely, in the business. Thanks. Have a great day.
Morning, Bongs and the 702 lenders. Happy Wednesday, everybody. If I was in trouble, I would call Harvey Specter. Because I know I'd probably either be guilty of it and I'd need to get out scot-free. I would call Harvey Specter for it.
Ciao, Bongani. Ralph here from Alberton. It has to be St. Augustine of Hippo, one of the greatest minds the world has known. Great blend of spirituality with intellect, wisdom, knowledge, and as he said, my heart is restless, O Lord, until it rests in thee.
Good morning, Wongs. For me, a person who will represent me in a public place, especially with the law enforcement, it will be Sandra Stein from the Queen and the River. That lady, she's a killer beast. I wish she was a real lawyer in reality. Sandra Stein, that one, I'll be going to the dock with confidence, going to face the judge with her on my corner. JT from Soshanguve, thank you so much, sir.
As Advocate Moses Kakane says, nobody goes to the doctor because they are fine, and most often when people walk into his chambers, they are in real trouble, which I think is an interesting point to make. We've been asking you the question, if you are in some kind of trouble, or at least your name was being tarnished in some way, who would you want to stand up for you, to defend you? And it doesn't have to be a legal issue, although we're hearing a lot of lawyers, Harvey Specter, Johnny Cochran. I'm not sure if I know very much about St. Augustine of Hippo. Mutewa mentioned the Boston legal team. What prompts this conversation? I want you to listen to the gospel singer Donnie McClurkin sharing on the Philip Scott show in 2021 how somebody who was most unexpected came to his defense at a time when he was being disrespected by the media.
Beyonce won her first solo, Grammy for her first solo project. Same year, she came up, said, Pastor Donnie, I won. Because she used to come and visit our church. I won. I said, oh yeah. They brought me to the interview row, all the different, Jay Leno, all those different shows. And Donnie McClurkin just went, move on, we don't do gospel. Four different radio and media, move on, we don't do gospel. And it broke me. I'm standing there with a Grammy, and no, we don't do gospel. And Beyonce, can we do an interview? And Beyonce walked up to them and said, I'm sorry, you don't do gospel. And walked away. All four of them, no, I'm sorry, you don't do gospel. And then came to me, hugged me and said, I got your back. Pastor, I got your back.
Isn't that the loveliest story? It's got nothing to do with what's happening in the news, and with so much negativity, when I first heard it, it just gave me goosebumps, right? Because it's got nothing to do with the news, I get it. But don't you every now and again need to hear a story like that? How she stood up for him? Sorry, we don't do gospel, they said to him repeatedly. And she obviously was watching all of this, and so by the time she's coming into the room, Beyonce, she goes, no, sorry, you don't do gospel. And she walked away and stood up for the great Donnie McClurkin.
EWN Sport.
Don't you love stories like that, Cindy? Where someone just does something nice. Not that they have to, not that everybody's seen.
I miss the days before social media when people were nice for the sake of being nice and not being nice just to show that they were nice. Yeah.
Because they are. Yeah. I'll tell you who wasn't nice yesterday. They're Proteas women.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely ruthless. I must be honest, when Pakistan were batting, at first I was like, I don't know if we're going to do so well on this wicket where I think they had 200 and something and there were only 2 wickets down, and I was really stressed. But I was silenced. I wasn't a critic. I was silenced because the Proteas women cruised to an 8-wicket win over Pakistan in that first ODI, chasing 256. Marzan Cup with an unbeaten 121 and Tasman Brits with 101 were the heroes, clinching the win with an over to spare. Player of the match Cup says it was tougher than it looked.
Hey, look, I struggled that over just before my century, so I was a bit frustrated. But no, today was extremely tough. The conditions was not easy. When I was on about 20 runs, I thought, how am I going to do this? So it was just extremely tough out there today.
The second ODI is on Friday. Opening night of the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal beat Athletic Club 2-0. Martinelli and Trossard coming off the bench to score. Drama as Juventus scored in the 96th minute for a full draw with Dortmund. Mbappe scored 2 penalties in Real Madrid's 2-1 win over Marseille. An own goal gave Spurs a 1-0 win over Villarreal. Qarabağ came from 2 down to beat Benfica 3-2. Eindhoven lost to Union Saint-Gilloise 3-1. Sekhukhune are top of the Premiership table after beating Kaizer Chiefs 3-1. Grobler scored two goals on either side of Silver's goal for Chiefs, with Monari getting the third for Sekhukhune. Sekhukhune coach Eric Tinkler.
I thought Bradley was outstanding tonight, not only because of the 2 goals that he scored, but also obviously because of his aerial ability and winning headers and then combining and finding other players. So on the transitions, we always looked a threat, and they struggled to deal with us.
Chippa beat Orbit 2-1 to move off the bottom of the table. Durban City's moved to 4th on the table with a 2-0 win over Sibolele. In an English League Cup, Aston Villa were knocked out by Brentford on penalties. Crystal Palace beat Millwall. Grimsby Town beating Sheffield Wednesday. And at the World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, Zakiti Nene qualified for the men's 400-meter final, running 44.20. That's the 5th fastest time in the top 8. The final is tomorrow afternoon at 3:10, while history made in the women's 1,500 meters, Faith Kipyegon winning a 4th world title. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hello, Uncle Bongani. I am Sianda. I am 10 years old. I go to St. Benedict's College, and when I grow up, I want to be a footballer, and I'm very excited to play the Whiz Quiz. Thank you.
Oh, we're excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you too. Can you score 10 goals?
EWN.
13 to 7, this Eyewitness News Traffic brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. That crash in Germiston, Amo.
It's really a bad one. Bongani is causing heavy delays. About a 30-minute hold-up between Jet Park Road and the R24 merge. This is right near Barbara Road, so please be on the lookout if you are traveling on the N12. While on the N17 West, we've got roadworks taking place between Carnival City and Rondabelt Road, and they are still causing heavy traffic volumes. And this peak time delay is reported on the N3 North between the Earlands Interchange and Modderfontein Road. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a shift worker making his way home and daydreaming about his next career move, his next chapter. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a possible light bulb moment that could change someone's life. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. 702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of ABSA. T's and C's apply.
Every day, South Africans are being squeezed to make ends meet. That's why they're Still Good, a new online platform where you can save up to 65% on groceries by buying Still Good value bags. Packed with groceries by leading retailers that are still perfectly good, just close to their sell-by date. You win by saving, retailers win by cutting food waste, and communities win as Still Good donates 10% of their earnings to food charities. Visit stillgood.co.za. Start getting more bang for your buck with Still Good.
We're gonna make insurance great again. We're gonna build a wall around high premiums. A big wall, the best wall. And guess what? You're not paying for it. We're gonna grab poor service by the policy. It's gonna be tremendous. Believe me.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision, people are saying, ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, Bongles. With regards to Donovan Moodley, it is highly improbable that he kidnapped Lee Matthews and acted on his own. The family want closure. But just as much as they want closure when they let Janus Wallace go. The Hani family didn't get closure either. It's very difficult. Even although people spend their 20-odd years in jail, they may not show remorse and they get released. And that's the society we live in.
Yeah, it's a very difficult one to wrap your head around because I think as the family of the murdered person, how do you move on? How do you move on? Yeah, they caught the killer, but we still don't know the full story. That's how they feel at least. And why should this guy walk?
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, we go to Zambia on an extraordinary story. 2 men convicted of witchcraft. Yep, it's a real thing. I'll tell you about that coming up. In the meantime, let's give away some cash, shall we? Sianda is 10 years old and goes to St. Benedict's College and wants to be a footballer. Sianda, are you ready to play?
Yes.
Here we go. KG, start the clock. Spell the word school.
SPOON.
SCHOOL. Which country has more kangaroos than humans?
Australia.
Correct. What sport does Rebohile Mofokeng play for South Africa? Soccer?
Soccer.
Correct. Which province borders on Lesotho, Gauteng or Free State?
South Africa.
Which province borders on Lesotho, Gauteng or Free State?
Free State.
Correct. Complete the saying, you snooze, you what?
You lose.
Correct. True or false? March, May, and August all have 31 days.
True.
Correct. In the alphabet, which vowel is between E and O?
E.
Which vowel is between E and O?
A.
It's I. Which word means reject? Allow or discard?
Discard.
Discard is indeed correct. And on time, the judges say, not a bad round, Sianda. You walk away with 600 Rand. 6 correct answers. Remember, it's $100 for each correct answer. You get all 10, you win 10,000 Rand.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? Brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand is up for grab. First, we give away 1,000 Rand if you send us an answer based on something you heard in the show that piqued your interest. WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072 702 1702. And then someone else gets 2,000 Rand if they can ask a question to get to your answer. It's that simple. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
The Africa Report.
Stories from the continent we think you should pay some attention to. Listen to this one. 2 men in Zambia have been jailed for trying to kill President Hakainde Hichilema, not with guns or knives, but through witchcraft. They were found with a live chameleon in a bottle, an animal's tail, powders and charms that prosecutors say were part of a ritual to assassinate the head of state via magic. The conviction is under Zambia's Witchcraft Act of 1914, which is a colonial-era law still on the statute books more than a century later. And it's raised deep questions about culture, politics, and justice in that country. What place do traditional beliefs hold in a modern democracy? Remember, we grappled with this on our own issues in South Africa a little earlier this week. We're joined now by Dr. Bongani Bingwa, who is a lecturer in cultural heritage at the University of Zambia, who's been quite outspoken about how these laws erase African spirituality. Dr. Moyo, welcome to our show and thank you so much for your time. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be on this interview.
Can you give us a brief background in terms of how this case unfolded? And do I have it right in my introduction?
Yes, well, it's been a very interesting case because essentially it's a case where 2 individuals were found with what we would call witchcraft instruments in that language. And these instruments were, according to reports, intended to be used in the bewitching of our current Republican president. So the case was taken to court and the 2 were convicted of professing to use magic, which is criminalized in Zambia. You cannot profess to use witchcraft powers or potency to perform any action, whether to injure someone or not.
So did these two accused admit to that being their intention with these things that were found in their possession?
Yes. According to reports, these two actually confessed that they were hired to perform this particular act of bewitching and ultimately killing the Republican president.
You've been critical of Zambia's Witchcraft Act. Tell us why.
Well, as you put it earlier, this is, a colonial law. This is a law that was put in place by colonialists. And what was the intention of doing that? What is it, or maybe the question I should ask is, how did colonialists look at us? And that actually, I think, should not end there. We should still ask ourselves, how are we as blacks looked at by the European community, by the white community? I do not mean to sound racist, but I'm trying to talk about what really, has been happening in particular spaces, or how do we look at ourselves in the, in relation to
the relevance
other
of that.
race. Yeah. So what do I mean? What I mean is that whatever law was crafted at that time was meant to basically make the life of the African difficult. It was meant to oppress the power of the African. It was meant to make the African think that whatever, knowledge, skill, or anything he has is of no consequence to development. Because as far as the European was concerned, the world had to be understood in an empirical sense.
I understand that, Dr. Moyo. How does it tie into this case, though, in 2025?
Okay, so this case now is being, discussed from that same point of that law, the law that criminalizes witchcraft, the law that says witchcraft should not be practiced. But maybe the question is, to what extent do we think that this is valid? How far has this been tested? How far has it been argued that this is possible? And the practice of witchcraft, I think, is something that has to be questionable. To what extent do we think witchcraft is real? And if it is real, how potent is it? And if it is potent, what then can we draw from it? So this issue, this particular case, as far as I'm concerned, is supposed to use a law that should respond to our current issues, to the questions that I'm asking right now. Is witchcraft real? If it is real, does it have an effect on our daily reality? If it has an effect on our daily reality, what is that effect? That is what the law is supposed to be dealing with. That is what the law should be interested in.
Surely, though, Dr. Moyo, one should criminalize things whose effect you can readily demonstrate.
Yes, but, the question was this demonstrated? Was there
the president himself, President Hichilema, has said he doesn't believe in witchcraft. You remember, of course, that is an issue that arose around the death of former President Lungu. Does that matter at all, that the supposed victim doesn't even believe in the crime that was ostensibly to be committed against him?
I personally would expect it to matter. I would expect reference to be made to that, to say the president does not believe in witchcraft. In that case, why should we be, talking about witchcraft? If witchcraft does not exist, then for what reason are we jailing these two? Of course, I understand the courts are free of, public views. They are focusing on what is contained in the law. And I still think that actually the law is wrong. I think this is a law we have to get rid of. I believe that we should enact laws that we think respond to us as a people, as a community, as Africans above all. Does our law take the African worldview into account, for instance? Does it take what we believe into account? I think if the law did that, it would be very easy for us to agree with it or not. As it stands, this law basically criminalizes anything to do with witchcraft, witch finding, the practice of witchcraft, one's presence at such a practice, just being present. So we have a law that can actually lead to a whole community being imprisoned. That's the kind of law that we have.
All right.
I don't know if you can.
I can, but we've run out of time. But I think we've got the gist of how you feel about it. Dr. Bongani Bingwa, who is a lecturer in cultural heritage studies at the University of Zambia. By the way, surveys show nearly 8 out of 10 Zambians do believe in supernatural forces, and the law criminalizes those practices. What do you make of that? A bizarre story? The president, the supposed victim of this attempt at witchcraft, himself doesn't believe in it. Is that something? I mean, what do you think? I found it absolutely fascinating. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
South Africa, of course, set the pace when it comes to heart treatment. We performed the first heart transplant in this country, and yet many of our hospitals simply cannot cope with the numbers of people who need cardiology services. Could AI be the game changer? That's coming up.
This is EWN.
Security beefed up ahead of the start of a major police inquiry, and will Kat Matlala finally be released on bail? Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. After an explosive briefing, stay-at-home orders and even court cases, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry will finally hold its first hearings today. The inquiry, chaired by retired Constitutional Court Justice Mbuyiseni Madlanga, has been tasked with ventilating allegations of interference and corruption in the criminal justice system and then recommending to the President what the remedies should be. KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi accused Police Minister Senzo Mchunu and Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibia of being involved in the rot. Both men insist his claims are not true. Meanwhile, the Umkhonto weSizwe party is trying to block the inquiry in the courts. Tomorrow, the party will hear the outcome of its application to have the establishment of the commission declared unlawful. Oren Singh reports.
As former President Jacob Zuma's MK party pursues yet another attempt to have the Madlanga Judicial Commission of Inquiry declared unlawful, the Commission says they will respect the outcome of the party's court application. The Pretoria High Court is expected to rule on the MK party application tomorrow. Commission spokesperson Jeremy Michaels.
Of course, the Commission will respect the outcome of the court proceedings.
KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will take the stand this morning as the first witness to testify.
We plan to have Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi on the stand testifying for at least 3 to 4 days, if not more.
The Commission's public hearings are expected to run over the course of the next 3 months. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, judicial watchdog Judges Matter says it's looking forward to seeing Mkhwanazi substantiate the allegations he made. The body says allegations that the rot goes all the way through the criminal justice system are concerning. Advocacy officer at Judges Matter, Mbigazeli Benjamin, says he is optimistic that the Commission will be able to answer some critical questions.
As Judges Matter, we are particularly focused on the allegations relating to the judiciary. General Mkhwanazi didn't mention whether it was only judges or it's only magistrates or both magistrates and judges are implicated. So we are looking forward to seeing him substantiate these allegations.
Let's shift to the courts now, where attempted murder accused Vusumuzi Kat Matlala will learn if his bid for bail has been successful in the Alexandra Magistrates Court today. Matlala brought his bail application earlier this month after initially abandoning it. The controversial businessman is accused of calling a hit on his socialite girlfriend, Debogo Tobejane, in December 2023. He's been charged together with his wife Tsakane and 3 others on charges ranging from attempted murder to money laundering. Khomoto Modise has more.
It's a coincidence worth noting that Vusumuzi Kat Matlala will receive judgment on his bail application on the same day that KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will begin his testimony before the Police Commission of Inquiry. Since Mkhwanazi's explosive press briefing in July, where he implicated Matlala in alleged dodgy dealings with senior politicians and top cops, the 49-year-old businessman has become a figure of interest. But it's for an alleged hit on his socialite girlfriend girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane and not his alleged dodgy dealings that Matala is arrested. In his bid for bail, he told the court that he suffers from asthma, chronic tonsillitis, and he could die in prison. The state opposed bail, saying he's a flight risk as he owns a private jet and assets in Mauritius. Khomza Modise, Eyewitness News.
As the shutdown of taxi routes in Cape Town takes effect this morning, Cape Town police have launched a manhunt for gunmen linked to yet another taxi-related murder. A 61-year-old taxi boss was shot and killed in Browns Farm yesterday. The man affiliated with Taxi Association Kata is the latest victim of violence within the taxi industry in the mother city. The attacks are linked to a Kata and Kodeta dispute over routes operating between Khayelitsha and Mfuleni to Somerset West, Lwandle and Nomzamo. The police's Joseph Swartboy says the gunmen involved in the latest attack in Browns Farm are still at large.
The motive for this attack is believed to be taxi-related. Nyanga police registered a murder for further investigation. We appeal to anyone with information to please call Crime Stop on 08600 10111 or alternatively use the mobile application MySaps anonymously.
And in the U.S., the man accused of fatally shooting U.S. activist Charlie Kirk has been formally charged with aggravated murder and 6 other charges. Tyler Robinson appeared virtually from jail before a judge at an initial hearing, with the next court date now set for September 29th. Officials say Robinson was radicalized online and the motive for the killing was a hatred for Kirk. Kirk was shot and killed while hosting an event at a Utah college last week. Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray confirmed during a press conference that they are seeking the death penalty in this case.
The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide.
Gold is trading at $3,693.04 an ounce. The rand is at 17.33 to the dollar, 23.67 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.44 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes on the N12 West. This is between the R21 and the Gululis interchange. This is due to peak time delays as well as an accident near Barber Road. So please, if you're traveling along the N12 this morning, please be patient along this route. If you're traveling on the Mike 1 North, peak time delays between Boysons Road and Empire Road.
In your sport, Kaizer Chiefs suffer a first loss of the season, going down 3-1 to Sekhukhune. Opening night of the Champions League saw wins for Arsenal, Real Madrid and Spurs. And the Proteas women thrashing Pakistan by 8 wickets in a first ODI Cup, and Brits with centuries.
A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng today. Joburg starting at lows of 8 degrees, peaking at 27. Pretoria 10 and 29, and Vereeniging 9 and 25 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. After an explosive briefing, stay-at-home orders and even court cases, the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry will finally hold its first hearings today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock, one of the questions we must ask is, what does it take to be heard in South Africa? If you're an ordinary person, you might say, without marching, without destroying public property, no one pays attention, do they? I mean, how much did the residents of Coronationville have to do before anybody would give them an ear about their water woes following weeks of their taps running dry? We know there are other suburbs, there are other areas of not only Johannesburg, indeed around the country, who have the same problem. And guess what? They are likely to continue to have the same problem because they haven't done what the people of Coronation did, right? This Madlanga Commission looking into allegations of corruption into the criminal justice system, it only arose out of a press conference. If you remember, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi did go to Parliament and tell members of Parliament what was going on in March. And to be fair to the MPs, they and the rest of us moved on like he hadn't said anything. It was only when he called the press conference to say, hey, guys, this is what, let me repeat. Did we all go, oh goodness, oh goodness. What does all of this have to do with the price of eggs? Think about that jaunt by officials at the Department of Social Development, that 3 million expenditure on a trip to New York. I want you to listen to Noneba Galeka Mazibuko, who is part of the Appropriations Committee in Parliament, one of the most senior ANC members of Parliament, defending that trip after a report was delivered. And she's arguing, but there were strategic benefits for the women and girls of South Africa from this trip. Have a listen.
Regarding the trip, Chair, we hear the benefits given by the department, and I think indeed it was an important trip, especially on the best practice learnings. But my issue here, Chair, is, sometimes we go to these trips, we come back, we don't implement what we have learned from these countries. We have issues of TPV, social illnesses, and all those things. And I think if the public can be assured that, yes, this is an expenditure, but this is a benefit that the public will benefit. And maybe my question on that would be, what triggered the public concern, and how does the department then manage the public perception, and also, as I said, ensuring the public that there will be benefits, that we will see change based on the trip.
What are you guys on about? She's saying. What's the public so upset about? There are benefits. It's clear. Right? Maybe we need to explain to you what we benefited. The department's total expenditure was over 3 million rand, including flights costing 1 million rand, insurance of 5,000 rand, accommodation of 1.3 million rand, transport of 423,000, and travel allowances of almost 160,000 rand. And it all totals over 3 million rand for these officials to go to New York to bring you back best practices. So what are you complaining about? Maybe you just don't understand the benefits that we derived, or that you derive from our visit. This is in Parliament. Yeah, ne? The other issue, of course, we're paying some attention to is not only Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi's appearance at the Madlanga Commission, but in fact, he is now suing forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan, who alleged that Mkhwanazi himself was corrupt. Remember, in July, O'Sullivan was on this very show making those allegations.
Let's go back 12 years or 13 years to 2012. And at that stage, Masemola was acting head of crime intelligence and Mkhwanazi was acting police commissioner. And while they were both occupying those positions, Masemola purchased 35 million rands worth of luxury motor cars from the crime intelligence slush fund. And that's all been swept under the carpet, but that was approved by the then acting chief of police, which was Mkhwanazi. Now, I'm left wondering, the relationship between these two bedevils everybody. But how do you appear in public, surrounded by people dressed in task force uniform, wearing masks, wearing task force uniform? There's only one reason for it. He wanted to send out a clear signal. And the signal was, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to avoid being arrested.
Paul O'Sullivan there, quite firm in his point of view. Mkhwanazi says he has tried to reach out to O'Sullivan to get him to retract those statements. O'Sullivan has refused, and now he's suing him for 5 million rand.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
14 after 7, things you need to know at this hour. Around almost 2,000 villagers in Lesotho have lodged a complaint with the African Development Bank claiming the Lesotho Highlands project has damaged their homes, polluted water, and forced relocations without proper consultation. We told you earlier, of course, of the passing of the Oscar-winning actor-director Robert Redford, founder of the Sundance Film Festival, who's died at the age of 89. A horror story from KZN. A taxi carrying school children plunged off a bridge in a place called Kwateta injuring at least 20 children. The driver who fled the scene but was later arrested was found to only have a learner's license, no driver's, and certainly no permit to transport those learners. UN investigators have accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza, saying its leaders are responsible for trying to destroy the Palestinians. Israel has rejected that report as distorted and false and calling for the Commission's abolition. You remember, of course, we have to go back to the 1948 Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Article 2 says, if you try to with intent destroy in whole or in part any group by killing its members or causing serious bodily harm or mental harm to that group, deliberately inflicting conditions of life calculated to bring about their physical destruction in whole or in part, and imposing measures to prevent births or even taking their children away from them. That is the definition of genocide. And now, of course, we know Israeli scholars have come forward to say that is exactly what is unfolding in Gaza. Malik Yoba was born on this day in 1967. You'll know him, of course, mostly for his role in New York Undercover, but he was also in Cool Runnings and Why Did I Get Married, as well as Empire.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by South African Airways. This season, South African Airways has added more flights to Lagos, Accra, Sao Paulo. Book your seat today. FlySAA.com. Heavy delays on the N12 West. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. This is all the way from Benoni to the Klulis interchange. So please, if you're traveling along this route, do be on the lookout. Peak time delays as well as an accident reported near Barber Road, and that's the reason for these long queues. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North between Beyers Naudé Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive due to peak time delays. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
From 4 November, South African Airways launches double daily flights between Johannesburg and Gaborone. Premium service, convenient timings, the reliability you deserve. Open for booking. Book now at flysaa.com.
702.
The Big Interview.
With Bongani Bingwa.
18 after 7. Listen to this now. More than 225 people die every day from heart disease in South Africa. It's now one of the top causes of death in the country. And we know emergency rooms in Johannesburg are often overwhelmed. Thousands of cardiovascular cases flood in as the system groans under pressure. We've only got about 200 cardiologists for over 60 million people in this country. That's just 3.3 per million. As I say, heart disease is now one of the top causes of death in the country. But there may be a lifeline, because as you know, even if we could employ more cardiologists, there's often no budget to pay those we would employ. So could artificial intelligence be the game changer? We've invited Dr. David Yankelo, who is a clinical cardiologist, to help explain the extent of the problem and what the opportunities are. A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time. Welcome to our program.
Thank you very much, Bongani, and good morning to all your listeners. Please just call me David. It's easier.
All right, David. Thank you so much. Look, our heart disease burden is growing. Could we even call it a crisis?
No, I think we can call it a pandemic or a tsunami. Cardiovascular disease is the biggest killer in the world. And it kills, as you said, approximately 215 to 230 people every single day in this country. And most of the deaths in the world due to cardiovascular disease are and will be occurring in the developing world. I liked your intro, what you said, that there's a paucity of expertise. In 2016, we as an association under Professor Karen Sleever published a paper on specialist cardiac and cardiac surgical training. And at the time, there were 200 cardiologists for 52 million South Africans, one per 260,000. Now, if you compare us to other countries, so just think of some of the other BRIC countries. Brazil has 8,000 cardiologists for 185 million. And that's a ratio of 1 per 23,000, 10 times more than what we have in this country.
Wow.
And even that ratio might not be enough to meet the coming challenges. And my big interest, I'm a clinical cardiologist, is in disruptive technologies and particularly artificial intelligence. And the dream for me is that perhaps leveraging technology in our beautiful country could help democratize healthcare. We have remote, underserved areas where there's no doctors, nursing staff, ECG machines. So that's the dream for me. It's an augment to expertise, and that's what I would hope for.
We'll come to the technology in just a moment, but still to paint the picture, I mean, as I would imagine, given the ratios you've just described there comparatively, it might mean that with too few specialists, our hospitals will likely be overwhelmed. I imagine that might mean longer waits, longer queues. Often I imagine, Dr. David, diagnoses are missed. Certainly doctors will be overworked. Is that how it plays out?
Possibly, but we just won't. At the current rate of producing specialists and cardiovascular specialists, we won't have the expertise to meet the challenges. So this is just some other possibility to help our country and meet the needs, especially in underserved areas in Africa and South Africa. So I think you're right what you say.
This was something that, I don't know, when I was growing up, certainly it was associated with older folk. I mean, you had to be sort of over 40 to be dealing with some of these lifestyle diseases that lead to heart issues. But now, are we seeing younger patients in their 20s, even, around there, being affected with things like diabetes and high blood pressure?
We are. Well, I just want to tell you an aside what is our big project under the South African Heart Association today. This is in collaboration with World Heart Day, which is under the World Heart Federation, which is to remind the world that heart disease is the biggest killer in the world and people need to be screened for risk factors. So our huge team, and we're all off to the Soweto taxi rank today, where we're going to use a novel AI technology to screen hopefully up to 1,000 taxi drivers and commuters. Because if you think of the taxi industry, there's 240,000 taxis in this country. They move approximately 17 million people every single day. They have high stress, long hours, poor lifestyles, sedentary, lack of exercise, bad diet, smoking, obesity, hypertension, and diabetes. And we did this last year in September at the Rosebank taxi rank, but today is our big screening next to Baragwanath. And we are using a novel AI technology to do the screening, but we're actually linking with a second AI technology, which is taking a questionnaire about their lifestyles and their physical habits, exercise habits, and their motivations to stay healthy, but combining that with their vital screenings to create a genre of music in a language which you would know, Maskandi, which is songs that the taxi drivers listen during the long days on the road. And each taxi driver today will create a personalized song with a positive heart health message. And we want the taxi drivers to spread the word amongst their communities.
South Africa,
what we will do. Yeah.
So if I can come in there, South Africa has long been a place of innovation when it comes to heart disease. I don't need to remind you about Dr. Chris Barnard. How could AI be a game changer? We don't, as we've discussed, we don't have enough specialists. We probably don't have the money to pay them, even if we could find them. How could AI be a game changer? And explain this, innovative AI technology you are using today.
Okay, so the AI technology is standing in front of, on a platform in front of a camera, just by a single selfie will measure pulse blood pressure and body mass index. We'll use point-of-care testing to do random cholesterol and glucose. But maybe I can, just apart from this technology, give you some other tidbits about this. I'm involved with the Mayo Clinic in the US, which has a massive cardiovascular AI team, and they have developed an algorithm, which is an AI-enabled ECG, which can predict future disease before it becomes clinically manifest. And it can predict heart failure, it can predict irregular heart rhythms such as atrial fibrillation when patients are actually in normal rhythm, and atrial fibrillation is the biggest cause of stroke worldwide, and it can predict valvular heart disease. And my role in this country is to roll out a national project using this technology to screen for valvular heart disease. We're almost there, just a few snags with the protocol and before we actually get going. So we have underserved areas, as I said, where there's no doctors, nursing staff, or ECG machines. And it's an augment to actually screen people and to determine who needs to be referred to a specialist or not. But there's lots and lots of other examples. The other thing is that artificial intelligence is not about replacing doctors. It's about augmenting expertise. It doesn't replace human intuition, judgment, a gut feel about the patient, and also artificial intelligence can't replace empathy and caring. Only human physicians can provide that. But hopefully these disruptive technologies will help free us up from repetitive, redundant tasks. And if it can help us do that, we could just get back to the task, which is our main aim, our main ethos in medicine is to help the patient, to care for the patient.
So we, in a sense, because of the challenges we face, we maybe have a unique opportunity to set the pace, if you will, in terms of how heart disease is treated with technology. Well, good luck to you. And maybe we'll touch back with you in the next day or so to find out how the rollout went in Soweto today at Chris Hani Baragwanath at that taxi rank. And hopefully the associations and everybody involved will be on board. Cardiologist and, of course, talking to us there, Dr. David. He wants me to just call him as simply as that, president of South Africa's Cardiology Association.
EWN Business.
28 after 7. Mateo Khoripe is here with business news. The food producer Libstar producing strong results, but now announcing a possible takeover bid.
Yeah, food company Libstar has delivered its strongest first half performance since 2022 for the 6 months ended in June. The dairy and mushroom producer says it was supported by volume growth at the company as well as operational efficiencies. Revenue increased by 6.7%. This was year on year to about 6 billion rand. That company is saying operating profit was at 296 million rand. Normalized earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization are increasing by 7.5% to 465 million rand. The food producer says it's considering a potential takeover bid. The owners of Lancewood Dairy and Denny Mushroom says they've received interest from potential buyers for all issued shares. Libstar's recent performance saw revenue growth for the 6 months ended in June. The new news saw its shares jump up 16.5%.
The news, not the new news.
Yes.
All right, South Africa's manufacturing industry posting contraction. Not good.
No, not too good. One of the key sectors for the country's GDP, the latest data from the ABSA Purchasing Managers Index shows that South Africa's manufacturing sector contracted in August. The August PMI indicating a drop of 1.4 points to 49.5. Any number above 50 is marked as growth, while a figure below 50 is seen as a contraction. ABSA's PMI noted that despite July's improvement, economic activity also remains lackluster, with that particular index down 47.4 points.
Your indicators?
Well, the rand at 17 rand 35, starting to gain on the dollar now at 20 rand 57 cents against the euro and at 23 rand 66 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,684 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,399. Brent crude at $68.38 a barrel. More business after 8.
Time now for your latest eyewitness news at exactly 7:30. Mbali Dlamini, let's begin in the Western Cape.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The City of Cape Town's Safety and Security Directorate has established a joint operations centre as the shutdown of several taxi routes and sections of ranks begins this morning. The closure was announced last week, shortly after the murder of a Qatar Taxi Association official at the Nyanga taxi rank. It will affect 10 routes and specified lanes at some ranks and follows deadly violence in various areas, including Khayelitsha, Makaza, Mfuleni, Somerset West, Nomzamo and Lwandle. The city's JP Smith.
The Safety and Security Directorate has been monitoring routes since the tensions escalated. With the closures, our enforcement services will be part of the JOC to ensure adherence and to mitigate any potential risks to public safety.
We'll move to the courts now, where lawyers representing communities on the Wild Coast say their dignity would be affirmed by consultations from oil and gas giant Shell before it explores their land for mining. The communities and environmental groups have approached the Constitutional Court to challenge a Supreme Court ruling that allows Shell to bring an application for seismic exploration. In their arguments, the communities have flagged the potential contamination of the sea during the seismic blasting, and they have accused oil company Shell of not consulting them. Khomotso Modise has more.
The Wild Coast community has accused oil and gas companies Impact and Shell of being sarcastic in their approach towards a consultation process. They want the companies to be compelled to consult with the community before a decision is made on whether to award exploration rights. Their lawyer advocate Tembeka Ngugaitobi.
And that actually is correct, because it's a lesson for others in the future that if you ride roughshod over community interest, at a certain point, the judges of the Constitutional Court are going to tell you to go backwards.
As it stands, the Supreme Court has allowed Shell and Impact to apply for renewal of licenses for seismic exploration. But Ngugaitobi argues that this decision must be overturned and the communities must be consulted first. Judgment in the matter has been reserved. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Constitutional Court.
Let's stay in the courts. The key state witness in the Lusikisiki massacre trial has testified that accused number 1 Mzugisi Ndamase allegedly monitored his movements after the mass murder. Luando Abi returned to the witness stand at the Mthatha High Court, sitting in Lusikisiki yesterday, where he was cross-examined by Ndamase. Abi, who was initially an accused in the matter, has now turned state witness. Last September, 18 people were shot and killed in Ngobozana village while gathered for a ceremony. Ndlanhla Mabaso reports from Lusikisiki.
During cross-examination in court yesterday, Luando Abi alleged that accused 1 Mzugisi Ndamase had ordered accused 4 Bongayinsa to track his movements. This as Abi planned to flee Lusikisiki and return to East London after the incident. Yesterday, Abi also testified that the firearms used in the assassination were dropped off in Flagstaff, where police found them 3 weeks later after the victims were killed. Court proceedings resumed today. Ndlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape.
And U.S. President Donald Trump is set to meet King Charles in Windsor Castle today as part of his first full day in the UK on his second state visit. Trump arrived in London last night, where he is expected to strengthen relations between the two nations. The visit will be packed with royal dazzle and military parades, while there are hopes for trade talks also taking centre stage. Demonstrations have been reported in parts of Britain over Trump's visit, with some groups slamming some of his policies. Last night, UK police arrested 4 people for projecting images of Trump and the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein onto the walls of Windsor Castle. A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng today, temperatures peaking at highs of between 25 and 29 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes on the N12 West between Snake Road and Craft Road due to an earlier accident. Please be on the lookout if you're traveling along this route, while on the N12 as well as the R24 West, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. I'm seeing roadworks right at the Kilulis turn off, causing delays, affecting also traffic on the N3 North.
The top story in EWN, the City of Cape Town Safety and Security Directorate has established a joint operations centre as the shutdown of several taxi routes and sections of ranks begins this morning.
So you thought you were building a business? In this economy? Good luck.
But day by day, somehow it grew. You became payroll, procurement, PR, and pressure valve. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. What's that saying again? What doesn't kill your business makes it stronger? Or at least it should be that. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore. It's who you are. And you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
Tani Esther, or should I say the Tupperware Tani? How's business going?
Business is booming. I've been operating out of the boot of my car for 10 years, but shame, it couldn't keep up with my growing empire.
Okay, so you sold it to We Buy Cars?
Yes, quick. Sold my old one, bought a bigger one. I even sold some of my Tupperware to the friendly guy who picked up my car.
Stick to what you know best, eh, Tani?
Excuse me?
Never mind. We Buy Cars. Geared for your business, geared for you.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani and the team. The person I would go to get me out of trouble will be Mr. Reddington from the blacklist. He can solve any problem.
Oh, I would like to have Raymond Reddington from the blacklist if I was in trouble.
Hi, Bongani. Look, if I want accountability and answers from politicians, man, I will call you. I'll call Clement. Oh my goodness. I know after that interview, I'll go home with answers, and that accountability will roll. Thank you.
Good morning, 702. Bongani, for me, it would have to be Julius Malema, right? The way she represented Caster Semenya, like, we gotta give the man his flowers.
Good morning, Bongani. I'm Max from Port St. John's. I will go from Buyiseni Ndlozi to represent me, Buyiseni Ndlozi.
All right, we were having fun a little earlier on. I played a clip from the fantastic gospel singer Donnie McClurkin, who said an unexpected ally came to his defense after he'd been disrespected by the media. And of course, it was none other than Beyonce who defended and comforted him. So I was asking the question, real or imagined, dead or alive, if you were in some spot of bother, who would you like to speak up for you?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance, and it's a chance for you to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So first 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. Today's answer comes from Ntlantla, who is in Tembisa. Ntlantla, good morning. Please give us today's answer.
Morning, Bongza. Today's answer is 89.
89. And tell me, Ntlantla, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes.
Your biscuit, 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to 702 and Outsurance. There you have it. Ntlanta's answer is 89. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
21 minutes to 8 o'clock. This EWN Sport is brought to you by R&B Corporate Banking. Ready, set, cash flow. Now, Cindy Paluta, you and I speculated yesterday about a big game in the Betway Premiership. Betway Premiership,
Yeah.
got to say it right?
Yes.
I was surprised by the result.
I I don't know. Were you surprised because of Chiefs' current start to the season?
Yeah.
Because if you were, if you're a long-suffering Kaizer Chiefs fan, you would have gone, yeah.
Seen this movie before.
And this is where sport kills you. The
Yeah.
hope kills you, right? It's the same with Man United this season. I feel like Chiefs and Man United kind of have similar. Okay, Man United are a bit worse than Chiefs at the moment for the season, but you had this hope at the start.
That
and it
something's
starts to fall.
changed.
But it's only one game.
It's only
Remember
one game.
what we said also about the All Blacks being
Fair.
too dramatic
Fair.
about losing so much to the Springboks. So Kaizer Chiefs suffering a first loss this season, 3-1 Sekhukhune. So Sekhukhune now top the table. Bradley Grobler with 2 goals. Coach Eric Tinkler.
They're a rejuvenated team and they're playing a lot better football than what they did in previous seasons. So we knew this game was going to be extremely tough, but we came with a game plan. When those moments came, we took the opportunities. We knew that there was going to be a lot of time that we'd have to work hard. But the most important factor was, dealing with it and coming through it.
Durban City up to 4th, a 2-0 win over Siwalele. Chipper moved off the bottom of the table thanks to a 2-1 win over Orbit College. Orlando Pirates game with Magesi scheduled for tonight postponed as Pirates have Champions League action this weekend. Opening night of the UEFA Champions League drama for Dortmund. Juventus scoring in the 96th minute in a 4-4 draw. Arsenal subs saved their Martinelli and Trossard clinching a 2-0 win over Athletic Club. 10-man Real Madrid beat Marseille 2-1. Mbappe scored 2 penalties. Villarreal lost to Spurs 1-0 due to an own goal. Quarabach came from 2 down to beat Benfica 3-2. In cricket, Marzan Cubs unbeaten 121 and Tasman Brits with 101 took the Proteas women to a massive 8-wicket win over Pakistan in the first ODI. The pair's partnership of 216 is the highest 3rd wicket stand. Cap says it was tough in the middle.
I think we helped each other out there brilliantly. There were times where she got frustrated and she struggled a bit and I helped her, and then vice versa. When I struggled, she just told me, just stay calm, watch your head, things like that. So it wasn't only the runs partnership, but it was the actual partnership of the two people speaking out there, helping each other, because she found it very difficult out there as well. Conditions was next level today.
Second ODIs on Friday. The World Athletics champs in Tokyo, South African Zakiti Nene qualified for the men's 400-meter final, running 44.20. That's the 5th fastest time in the top 8. He did cruise past the line. That final is tomorrow afternoon at 3:10. And also on day 4, Faith Kipyegon extending her legacy with the 4th world title in the women's 1,500 meters. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Feeling some lag in Sector 3?
Copy. Optimizing working capital. Ready. You're approaching a tight corner. Cash flow pressure ahead.
Low on liquidity. Supply pressure is building. Set.
Deploying cash injection in 3, 2, 1. Flow.
Nice move. Better supply chain control.
Lab time advantage. Faster cash cycles, leaner inventory, and optimized working capital.
Ready, set, cash flow. Corporate banking from RMB. RMB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
I'm asking about what's been stolen. Have we not seen corruption under your party, the ANC, over the last 30 years?
I would not stand here in the name of the ANC and defend wrongdoings. Just yesterday, I'm sure me and you read the story of a chap who looted the hospital there. SIU has taken almost assets worth about 3.7 billion. It was on the news yesterday.
Zandile.
No, don't laugh.
No, man, come on. This is ridiculous. Have you read stories about Beki Kele and Ket Matlala? Have you read that? Have you read stories about the very same man you're talking about in Tembisa and which politician was in his house meeting Ket Matlala?
Are they members of the ANC?
No, you said these people are normal people in society, and I'm saying politicians, when they loot money, they're going to use their families and normal business people in society.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Insurance pulls you in. Pineapple pulls you under. Insurance. Pineapple. Insurance. Pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster. With 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of APSA. T's and C's apply.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
EWN Traffic.
7:45, and this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. Amo?
Bongani, traffic remains heavily backed up on the N12. In fact, it's a stop-and-go situation between Snake Road all the way towards Craft Road. This is due to an earlier accident that was after Craft Road. And if you are currently traveling on the N3 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Yelands Interchange and Morafontein Road. Peak time pressure there. There's also queuing traffic along the Mike 1 South between the Baklu Interchange and Corlet Drive. I'm seeing an accident reported right at the Corlet off-ramp, and it's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. If you were traveling in Bryanston, do expect delays along Winnie Mandela Drive as well as Republic Road. That intersection is heavily backed up, and then there's a car that is stuck on the road on the N3 North in the Spruit View, Katlehong areas approaching the Heidelberg Road off-ramp, and it's causing delays from Leondale Road. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Great entrance? Forget that. Make a grand entrance. Grand! Be late, make everyone wait, and be grateful they did. Peeps be rubbernecking, staring gormlessly like deer in your 50,000 intelligent LED headlights. Grand! Make a grand entrance in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Achtung, baby. Grand! It's even got massage seats. Grand. Visit opel.co.za for more.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, thanks to Outsurance, please tell me what's the question. If today's answer is 89. Let's go to the lines and go to Refilwe in Rivonia. Refilwe, what's the question?
How old was Robert Redford when he passed away yesterday?
Yeah, hey, one of Hollywood's greats, I would say. Said to be one of the most handsome leading men ever, but he was so much more than just a handsome man. He was a director, he was an activist, and he was somebody who was concerned about climate change, I think long before it was in vogue. Refilwe, you're walking away with 2,000 Rand in cash.
Thank you.
All thanks to Outsurance and 702. I want you to listen to some of the issues that Robert Redford has raised about society at the moment, including an interview from 2 years ago in 2023, reflecting how difficult it is now to find truth even in the news.
What's happening now, the truth is getting harder and harder to find because so many people are claiming the truth. And because we're now living in an environment we weren't quite in before when you just had 3 or 4 channels giving you the news. For me, journalism is under such threat because we're living in a soundbite world. And how do you dig the truth out when the attention span of the public is so narrow? And that's why I feel that documentaries are probably the new long-form journalism. To me, that's where you have a better chance of getting to the truth because you can take a whole hour to tell a story. It gives you time to really go deeper into it rather than the soundbite war we're living in now.
We're living in a soundbite world, except, of course, that very comment he makes there is a bit of a soundbite. But he was always open about his own difficulties. Listen to what he said in 2017 about the process of aging.
I'd like to say something about getting older. Because I think when we're young, we don't think about that, or at least I didn't. And you just love the chances you're taking without thinking about it. You suddenly realize you have to start being careful. And I find that hard to deal with. You have to give up certain things you had when you were young you didn't have to think about. And suddenly you do. And that creates a restriction of some kind. And that's kind of sad.
What have you had to give up as you are getting older? Things you just didn't bat an eyelid about when you were younger, but now as you age, you realize maybe that's not for me. What are those things you have had to give up? Send us a voice note. I'd love to hear.
I work at Optima College. We offer distance learning solutions.
How is it that OUTsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're helping people to do better, and OUTsurance is doing better for you.
Definitely. If OUTsurance will not be able to beat your current premiums, remember there's that 500 Rand that you could get.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Tell me, what brings you and OUTsurance together?
You know, Jacques, I've been battling to get a nice car insurance, man. Someone that can give you
PTCs and information online. This is your business. Hooray! This is your business supercharged with the help of Zero accounting software. Hooray! This is your business supercharged with the help of Zero, finding you have more time to focus on things you love and not endless admin. Supercharge your business today.
Search Zero with an A. It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses and coughs. It's time to live, work, play and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisid, Levogex and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
Naked people always get dessert. Because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums, they've got more money for Malva pudding, or cheesecake, or both. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And because it's all online, it also costs less. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start treating yourself like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Time now for the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bele.
This is an interesting one because this is somebody who has put himself out there previously as, a bit of a fitness fanatic. Kasper Nyovest on a weight loss journey.
Yeah, you're right. So this came about. He performed at the Scorpion Kings concert 2 weeks or so back at Loftus, I think it was. And one of his performances, somebody videoed it and it went viral, and people were commenting and saying, Kasper's looking a little bit stoodler and all this kind of stuff, right? And I mean, he's, big superstar, got lots of money and blah, blah, blah. But he obviously looks at these things and notices these things. And he picked up the comments from people. And he then had a video that he made to address this. Let's take a listen to what he has to say about his weight gain.
We're 3 months from fill up, and I've officially started training. I was doing cardio all week. This time it's a bit more fun because I'm playing tennis. Next week I'll be starting weight training. The comments over the weekend were harsh, and it hurt my feelings a little bit, but sometimes that's what you need, right? A little push. 2 piece of my ladies. Kasper must never go to jail because of feety. Those are some of the things they were saying. Firstly, it is definitely a projection of how you feel about yourself. Body shaming and all of that. You don't even know what I'm going through, but I'm going to take the lemons, turn it into lemonade. You already know. Always the underdog. Time to prove him wrong, change the narrative, and prove that Mufasa's still a king. 6th of December, fill up Toyota Stadium, Sunday.
So, there you have it. He said it hurts his feelings. And of course, these things do hurt our feelings. And when these hard truths come about, Bongles, you can either take it on the chin and say, okay, cool, I've got to do something about it, or you can ignore it and, just go on with your life. So I wanted to find out from our 702 family this morning if you have had a hard truth that somebody has told you, you've overheard, and what have you gone and done about it? And what was the hard truth that maybe you knew it, but, sometimes you always kind of like, put it in the back of your head. Nah, it's fine. I'll do something about it later. And then somebody close to you, nearest to you, or somebody you work with says something, and it hits hard, and you've got to do something about it.
Look, when you do public jobs, as I do and as you do, Kabazela, particularly if you're on social media, say something like Instagram, there are people who feel entitled to comment on your appearance. I've had that, and whether you've gained weight or whether you've lost weight, people feel entitled to go on your Instagram page and say what they think. And it's part of what I think you have to contend with. And I completely relate to what he says, that it does hurt your feelings. Because
of course,
we all want to be liked. We all want to be recognized and validated, particularly when we make an effort about our appearance. But yeah, I can tell you, I've had one or two comments come my way in my time, and they hurt as much as if I knew you, even if I don't. So have you had a hard truth told to you about yourself? And did it make you decide to change something, or did you just sit there and sit in your feels and be hurt? I'd love to hear from you on 072-702-1702. Send us a voice note. This was an interesting one, a Heimlich maneuver by a pregnant wife.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, so they got cameras in their home, obviously, and this is how it was captured. So they're in the kitchen. There's two young kids, the wife that's 6 months pregnant, and the husband. He's hovering around the bin, and he looks like he's struggling, and then she notices that he's choking. So she's like, damn you're not leaving me with these two kids and one on the way. And she runs up behind him and starts doing the Heimlich maneuver and pushing. And eventually what was ever lodged in his throat pops out. And then, the video ends and thankful that he's around. But two things from this video, Bongles. Have you ever had a choking experience? I think it must be a heck of a frightening thing where you can't speak and then you're trying to motion to somebody to say,
I had it on my birthday. I
did
choked
you?
On a chicken bone, and it took so long to get it dislodged out of my throat that genuinely was a time that I thought this might be it. And you sort of look at everybody, and nobody quite gets how serious it is. But you can't breathe. This thing is there, and I had that flash. It wasn't so much life flashing before my eyes, but I just looked at everybody, and I thought, seriously, is this how I go?
Yeah.
Chicken bone? But at
now
some
listen,
point, I was struggling.
A question on the chicken bone. Were you eating the marrow out of the chicken bone? Or how did you get a chicken bone lodged?
I thought it was a piece of meat and it had a bone and I swallowed too quickly. Whatever. Nobody plans to get themselves choked, Kabazela.
No, well, I mean, when you were away, Clement and I, we spoke about, he says he eats bones, the chicken bones. And I was like, how do you eat chicken bones? And then I went back and listened to some of the messages from our listeners, and you break the bone open and then you eat the marrow. So last night I had chicken legs and I tried to break the bone open to try the marrow, but I couldn't succeed in breaking the bones. So
All right. Must enjoy the marrow of life.
702-1702.
That's what's gone viral with Kabazel.
EWN Traffic.
Quick Eyewitness News traffic update brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo.
Bongani, an accident on the Mike 1 North right near Colet Drive is causing heavy traffic volumes. Please try to avoid this one. Delays coming out of Harton Drive while traveling in the southerly direction of this route. More traffic volumes coming out of the Baklu interchange. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Do you remember 20 years ago when you were still driving to the video store to get DVDs? I'll tell you what, even 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were there on the roads to ease traffic congestion. Hey? So whether you're an Outsurance client or not, we all, I think, get something out. So show them some love. Celebrate this 20th anniversary using hashtag pointsmanlove. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702 Feedback
with Rupfiwa Kone.
Rupfiwa Kone.
Yes, Bongo.
Have you had in recent times heard a hard truth told to you? And how did you feel?
Because it was coming from such a good place, I did transform myself. I was told by my sister to go back to school, complete my studies, so that life won't be as difficult. It was hard to hear, but I did. And here I am. So
Ah,
it
okay.
worked.
All right. So that
Yeah.
was a while ago.
But there are
'Cause
people
I'm
who are
thinking-
just mean.
I'm thinking you're doing well. Your life isn't hard. Okay, so this was a while ago.
This was a while ago, yes.
Ah, okay. Do you
Yes.
thank her now?
Yes, I do. Of course. Of course I do. But there are people who are mean out there, who don't say things with the intention to
build.
help you grow.
Yeah.
So if you're mean, just keep it to yourself. If it's
And you can hear it when it's
Yeah.
from a mean place, hey?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other feedback do you have?
Bongani, 702 landers are buzzing with responses to your question about a public figure, fictional or a non-fictional, past or present, who they would choose to represent them. TV icons like Raymond Reddington from The Blacklist came up, Olivia Pope from Scandal. Sandra Stein is a favorite here in South
Yes,
Africa.
seems so.
Yeah, she is a definite favorite. And of course, 702 landers also mentioned some names from 702 land, such as yourself, Bongani, Clement Manyathela, and Thabo Shole Mashal, Bongani.
Oh, I wouldn't mind John Polman defending me if an issue came up. I think you could ask some penetrating questions.
Yeah.
Talking of penetrating questions, of course, all eyes on the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. We've got our man on the scene, Oren Singh from Eyewitness News. We'll be chatting to him coming up.
This is EWN.
The MK party is still opposed to the start of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, and Cape Town taxi commuters left frustrated by taxi route closures. Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Umkhonto Wesizwe Party is expected to picket outside the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria this morning. This is where day one of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry kicks off today. The inquiry, chaired by retired Constitutional Court Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, has been tasked with ventilating allegations of corruption in the criminal justice system made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The MK Party is trying to block the inquiry in the courts, saying it is a violation of the Constitution. Tomorrow, the party will hear the outcome of its application to have the establishment of the commission declared unlawful. Oren Singh reports.
As former President Jacob Zuma's MK party pursues yet another attempt to have the Madlanga Judicial Commission of Inquiry declared unlawful, the Commission says they will respect the outcome of the party's court application. The Pretoria High Court is expected to rule on the MK party application tomorrow. Commission spokesperson Jeremy Michaels.
Of course, the Commission will respect the outcome of the court proceedings.
KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will take the stand this morning as the first witness to testify.
We plan to have Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi on the stand testifying for at least 3 to 4 days, if not more.
The Commission's public hearings are expected to run over the course of the next 3 months. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
At the same time, judicial watchdog Judges Matter says it's looking forward to seeing Mkhwanazi substantiate the allegations made. The body says allegations that the rot goes all the way through the criminal justice system are concerning. Advocacy officer at Judges Matter, Mbegezeli Benjamin, says he is optimistic that the Commission will answer some critical questions.
As Judges Matter, we are particularly focused on the allegations relating to the judiciary. General Mkhwanazi didn't mention whether it was only judges or it's only magistrates or both magistrates and judges are implicated. So we are looking forward to seeing him substantiate these allegations.
In the courts now, attempted murder accused Vusumuzi Kat Matlala will learn if his bid for bail has been successful in the Alexandra Magistrates Court today. Matlala brought his bail application earlier this month after initially abandoning it. The controversial businessman is accused of calling a hit on his socialite girlfriend Tebogo Tobejane in December 2023. He's been charged together with his wife Tsakane and 3 others on charges ranging from attempted murder to money laundering. Khomotso Modise has more.
It's a coincidence worth noting that Vusmuzi Kat Matala will receive judgment on his bail application on the same day that KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will begin his testimony before the Police Commission of Inquiry. Since Mkhwanazi's explosive press briefing in July, where he implicated Matala in alleged dodgy dealings with senior politicians and top cops, the 49-year-old businessman has become a figure of interest. But it's for an alleged hit on his socialite girlfriend, Tebogo Tobejane, and not his alleged dodgy dealings that Matala is arrested. In his bid for bail, he told the court that he suffers from asthma, chronic tonsillitis, and he could die in prison. The state opposed bail, saying he's a flight risk as he owns a private jet and assets in Mauritius. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News.
In Cape Town, some taxi users in Mfuleni have raised their frustrations with the shutdown of a route to Somerset West. From this morning, 10 taxi routes between Mfuleni and Khayelitsha to Somerset West, Lwandle and Nomzamo have been closed due to ongoing violence. Several people, including commuters, were killed or injured in attacks linked to a dispute between taxi associations Kata and Kodeta. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
Taxi users who normally travel from Mfuleni to Somerset West are frustrated this morning due to the shutdown of this route following deadly attacks on taxi operators and commuters in recent weeks. Metrorail and Golden Arrow bus service have been roped in to provide extra capacity. However, this commuter has told Eyewitness News that the route closure has created a challenge for many.
The route that the bus is taking is very long, and it takes with the bus 1.5 hours, and then with the taxi it's only 30 to 40 minutes. Therefore, we're going to be late at our workplaces.
The shutdown will remain in effect for the next 30 days or until the warring taxi associations reach a peace agreement. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News in Mfuleni.
And US President Donald Trump is set to meet King Charles in Windsor Castle today as part of his first full day in the UK on his second state visit. Trump arrived in London last night, where he is expected to strengthen relations between the two nations. The visit will be packed with royal dazzle and military parades, while there are hopes of trade talks also taking centre stage. Demonstrations have been reported in parts of Britain over Trump's visit, with some groups slamming some of his policies. Last night, UK police arrested 4 people for projecting images of Trump and late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on the walls of Windsor Castle. Gold is trading at $3,679.99 an ounce. The rand is at 17.36 to the dollar, 23.68 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.47 a barrel.
There's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the Maikwan North between the Kilani Bains and Grayston Drive due to an accident near Corlett Drive. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West between Heidelberg Road and the Crown Interchange.
And in your sport, Marzan Cup blasts an unbeaten 121 and Tasman Brits made 101 as the Proteas women thrashed Pakistan by 8 wickets in a first ODI. Sekekone's unbeaten run in the Premiership continues with a 3-1 win over Chiefs. And in the Champions League, wins for Arsenal and Real Madrid. Tonight's big game sees Bayern host Chelsea. Liverpool welcome Atletico Madrid.
A fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng today, temperatures peaking at highs of between 25 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Umkhonto weSizwe party is expected to picket outside the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria today.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. If you've just joined us, it is, of course, the 17th of September, the year of our Lord 2025. All eyes on Pretoria today. This is, of course, the beginning of the Commission of Inquiry looking into allegations of corruption in the criminal justice system. Those you'll remember were made by the KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. He is going to be the star witness, the first witness. I expect he's going to be on the stand for a few days. I think in the next day or so, that is really all we will talk about. And I'm expecting some bombshells. Are you, Mateo? Are you expecting more detail about some of the allegations he made, both in Parliament initially and, of course, at that press conference in July?
I think since he made the allegations, what everyone wants to know is if he's got the proof to back it up, and what exactly is he going to say at the commission. And
I think he's going to name names.
I think so.
He's going to be under oath.
He's already started. He can't back up now and say he can't mention a few names. He's already started. So
what do you think he's thinking and feeling? What would you be thinking and feeling? The whole country, the spotlight, the criminal underworld, everybody in the criminal justice system looking at you, the population.
Yeah. I think this is the attention he's been trying to get in terms of saying this in Parliament, and also that press briefing, of course, that famed press briefing. This is now his stage, and the mic will be on. The entire nation, he knows, will be watching. And this probably is not his first rodeo being a policeman as well. He's not, he's probably been in the dock on some cases or few. So he'll be well within his playing field.
He'll be prepared.
Yeah.
What cow will it birth? Do you understand what I mean by that? What cow will it birth? What cow will it birth? You either know it or you don't.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, I tell you what cow American politics have birthed. I want you to listen to... Hey, guys, Donald Trump just is the gift that keeps on giving. So here he was, Donald Trump, being asked some questions by reporters. I want you to listen to this exchange he has with a journalist from Australia who asks him a question. Remember, he's, of course, just arrived in the UK ahead of a state visit there. He calls King Charles his friend. But have a listen to how an exchange with a journalist from Australia turns into a threat, a veiled threat by Donald Trump to the country. Have a listen.
This is appropriate, President Trump, that a president in office should be engaged in so much business activity.
Well, I'm really not. My kids are running the business. I'm here. You know what the activity, where are you from?
I'm from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Paul Corner's program.
Well, the Australians, you're hurting Australia, right? In my opinion, you are hurting Australia very much right now. And they want to get along with me. You know, your leader is coming over to see me very soon. I'm going to tell him about you. You set a very bad tone. Well, go ahead, John. Maybe you can set a nicer tone.
The UAE does a deal. What does it want in return?
Quiet. Excuse me. Quiet. He's being asked, how is it that you as a president in office are running all these businesses? Trump is reportedly much, much wealthier than he was before, particularly this second term. He's used every opportunity to enrich himself and his family. I mean, it sounds very familiar, right, to us as South Africans. He's being asked, how do you do this? And he says, no, my kids are running the businesses. First of all, who are you? Where are you from? And what was a question about his business dealings could potentially be some kind of diplomatic issue, because that's what American politics have birthed.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Good morning, Bongani and team. Oh my God. Talk about choking. I choked on an apple alone while driving. Bongani, you are right. I felt like this is it, because it took a while. At least I managed to park the car, and I felt like this is the end.
Earlier this year, I choked on. I got a multivitamin in my throat, and it would not dislodge. I had to crawl onto my mother's side of the house, but because my mother's elderly, she's over 80, she didn't have enough strength to hit me on the back, and we had to call the neighbors because my husband was away, and they had to drive me to Albertine Mediclinic in order to have this thing removed. But it was the worst day of my life, and it was just after my birthday in March. This is Yolisa.
Good morning, Bongani and 702 Land. In terms of choking hazards, I once had a bone, from chicken feet. Like, there was a tip of the bone lodged in my throat. It wasn't painful, and that's when I got to realize that the throat muscles are actually quite strong. But I could still feel it with my tongue, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this how I go out? With all the nice food in the world, am I gonna go out from Mautwana, chicken feet?" And ever since then, I don't want to see chicken feet in the house. Boris from Midrand. Thank you.
You know what I respect? The Gaviscon pill. The Gavis, you know the big one that looks like the old 1 rand.
Yeah.
Don't swallow that thing without breaking it. Trust me. I've had an incident with the Gaviscon pill. There was also the beetroot one where I choked on a date, but that's a long, long story. I was rushed to hospital.
On a date.
I was on a date. Was rushed to hospital. I was at Melrose Arch many years ago, thankfully. I was rushed to Mill Park Hospital because of beetroot, a piece of beetroot.
That would have been a deal breaker for me.
Yo, guys. This is not Clement Manyatela at 11 o'clock on a Friday, Mateo.
EWN Traffic.
The 8:15. This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo, you speak because I don't know what to say.
Hopefully no one chokes on traffic this morning because we've got heavy traffic volumes. On the Maikwar North, this is between Kilani Bains and Grayston Drive due to a major accident after the Corlett Drive exit. Please be on the lookout there. The M1 South is also affected with delays from the Baklu interchange. N3 North, bumper to bumper traffic between the Elands interchange and Waterfontein Road. There's also queuing traffic on the R24 as well as the N12 West between Craft Road and the Kilulis interchange. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Imagine saving on car insurance. Now imagine getting 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you don't. Well, that's right. If Outsurance can't beat your car insurance premium, they'll give you 500 bucks in cash. 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you always get something out. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
You've reached in his Renault Duster en route to Dullstrom. This journey is taking to try a sport far more boring than its name might suggest. Fly. Fishing. He'll be in his Renault Duster, which he bought with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance.
Leave it all behind in the new Renault Duster with 40,000 Rand trade-in assistance. Offer exclusive to Renault Financial Services. Product of APSA. T's and C's apply.
When captains of industry gather together to discover how AI and other exponential technologies can future-proof their organizations, they'll find out what matters most at the Stellenbosch Business Institute C Leader Summit. Global thought leader Dr. Vivian Ming will challenge you on what it means to lead in an automated world by unlocking the full power of human intelligence in the age of AI. Join her and other thought leaders by visiting sbinstitute.co.za to book your seat at the Stellenbosch Business Institute C Leader Summit. 2 October at the Forum in Bryanston. Stellenbosch Business Institute, beyond a business school.
This is Jade. She'll spend hours comparing almond milk and once made a spreadsheet just for sneakers. But when she found Santam, SA's leading short-term insurer that offers a range of cover options from vehicle to building and home contents, even she didn't overthink it. The kind of freedom Santam gives you takes some getting used to. Speak to your broker. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer and controlling company for its group companies.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
18 after 8, all eyes on the capital today. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into the criminal justice system gets underway. And of course, it's going to be investigating allegations of criminality, corruption, political interference in our police and intelligence services. And it kicks off today with who's expected to be the star witness, the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Our man at the scene is Oren Singh, EWN reporter. Oren, a very good morning to you. You are already, of course, in Pretoria, and the commission will kick off today. Is there a buzz around? It's a hive of activity, I would expect.
Somewhat, Bongani, good morning. I think a lot of media houses, obviously as expected, camped out here waiting for this much anticipated commission to start. It's been several, or at least 2 months in the making. We've had several delays due to procurement issues, but relatively quiet at the moment. I would have expected more members of the public having arrived by now, with the commission having urged people to arrive quite early to ensure that they get a spot, bearing in mind that they have a cutoff of 300 people. That's as much of the public that they will allow in for these public hearings. A lot of police, as expected, Bongani, a few police anyalas that are used for crowd control, and police officials on the road, as well as TMPD.
I mean, can you take us through when proceedings will start and what the plan of the day, as it were, is likely to be?
Well, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is expected to begin his testimony as the first witness for the commission at 10 a.m. this morning. I'm hoping, Bongani, that we don't have any delays and we start on time, but we're expecting to hear from him, and hopefully he's going to go a little bit more in depth, talking a little bit more about the allegations that he put forth and made public on the 6th of July. But I think what's important to note is that the evidence leaders much will rely on what the evidence leaders question him on and what they push him and probe him to expand on in terms of his testimony. We've seen through various commissions in the past, the Zondo Commission and so forth, that witnesses sometimes don't want to expand on their answers, don't want to go a little bit more in depth. And I think at this present moment in time, given the allegations, Bongani, the general public deserve to know. We deserve to know names and everything that's been raised by the Provincial Commissioner, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.
I would imagine, though, because not only will the whole nation really be watching this, but I would imagine also leaders of criminal elements might also be paying some attention to understand exactly how the criminal justice system operates. There will be some sensitive information, and not all of it will be for public consumption.
Yes, I think that's important, Bongani. The fact that the Commission basically has 3 types of hearings. Public hearings, what we're going to witness today, open to the public. Then we've got 2 in-camera sort of hearings. Number 1, in-camera hearing is where they'll not allow members of the public or the media to be in the auditorium to listen to a witness testify, but they'll provide us with the audio thereafter or during the proceedings. And number 2 in-camera hearings would be nothing is allowed for public consumption at all. So no one will know what's been heard, no one will know what's been said during that specific person's testimony. So it'll be interesting to see how much of those in-camera secret hearings are held. We know much of what they're going to talk about relates to state security, national security, and so that's how they are justifying reasoning as to why they will have those secret in-camera hearings.
And will we know the witnesses which will be testifying in camera, Oren?
I think we will know to an extent, Bongani. There are going to be certain witnesses like we saw in the Zondo Commission with Witness X and so forth that we won't be able to identify. They won't give that information to the media nor the public. And that's for security reasons, as they say, related to the state security agency and maybe even crime intelligence.
Will this be a watershed moment, do you think, Oren, or will it be just another commission of inquiry at the end of which we'll all move on business as usual?
Bongani, I think for the majority of the reporters here today, I think for the majority of South Africans, we want it to be a watershed moment. I think we all have a hope that this commission is not just going to be another commission in South Africa's history where everything is said and done and then it's done. No action is taken. The president is given recommendations about what should be done and nothing is acted upon. And I think it's vital at this present moment in the country's democracy and history that we act on this, given that there are serious allegations against the criminal justice system, not only in Gauteng, but for the entire country.
I have to agree with you, Oren. I think we've had a number of seminal commissions in the country's democratic history. I'll take you back to the TRC. I think the arms deal hearings and, of course, the state capture hearings, and I certainly think this will be one of them. Oren Singh, our EWN reporter at the scene. Don't forget, both Clement Manyathela and Mandy Weiner will be broadcasting live from outside the Madlanga Commission. So if there's any guest, if there's any analysis to be provided, they certainly will do it. You better stay listening to 702 all throughout today, because it's going to be one of those memorable ones.
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Let's check up now, or catch up, I should rather say, with news from elsewhere in the world. Good morning to you, Adam. One of the Hollywood greats has left us. Robert Redford. What a career, what an actor, what a human being.
Anyone doesn't know Robert Redford films, doesn't know films. I mean, they are extraordinary. The panoply of work that he had. Jane Fonda says she can't stop crying at the news that he's died. Meryl Streep put it, one of the lions has passed. This is a guy who also had all sorts of environmental credentials, who believed in filmmakers, hence the Sundance Film Festival he set up in Utah, the place he loved, the place where ultimately he died. But he was a heartthrob for most of his 89 years. You think Barefoot in the Park, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Downhill Racer. He showed he could act in The Candidate and The Sting and All the President's Men. He had the star quality in all of those, plus The Great Gatsby and The Way We Were. I would put forward 3 slightly under-the-wire films: Sneakers, 3 Days of the Condor, and All Is Lost, as again being just superb work. And the thing I love about Robert Redford, this is my own personal observation, is his double take. He does a lot of double takes in very different ways. Each double take's always different. They look again thing. He's extraordinary at it. And once you've seen Robert Redford double take, you will yourself double take.
I'm thinking of that hand, Barbara Streisand, just touching his forehead in The Way We Were, in that sort of sad goodbye moment, but his friendship with Paul Newman, and you've mentioned a couple of the leading ladies.
Yeah.
What a career. And I absolutely agree with you, Adam. If you don't know this man, you don't know film. It's as simple as that. Onto something a little bit more dramatic, I should say, at the very least, this gas attack in Germany.
20 children treated for a tear gas attack sprayed at them in a primary school in Germany. A man with a, quote, youthful appearance attacked the children in the stairwell of a school in West Hanau near Frankfurt. It happened in the mid-morning break. 6 girls, 14 boys, 2 were taken to hospital. I believe they've been released since. And indeed, there was a manhunt, essentially, for this guy in Germany. But bear in mind, in the past couple of months, there have also been tear gas / pepper gas attacks on a school in Berlin and a train in Hamburg. What on earth is going on?
It's unbelievable. And tell us about Donald's visit with his friend Charles.
He's here, calling him Prince Charles, as he set foot on Air Force One. Whoops, no, King Charles, but it's okay. He'll know when he turns up, when they have the full thing today. It's the full pomp and circumstance with military parades, a fly past, the Red Arrows aerobatic display team. But there are also protests. It is a difficult thing because this is the second state visit for Donald and Melania Trump, this time at Windsor Castle, not in central London. So is this an honor for the president, which is only right and proper, or for the man? And that's a difficult thing to argue. Like when you salute a senior officer, you're meant to be saluting the badge, not the person. So no pandering to the ego whatsoever is there in giving Donald Trump a second state visit. But you know what? They've already announced a huge multi-billion-dollar tech deal with AI companies in the UK. There will be some sort of uptake, I'm sure, in the UK economy. They might even talk lowering tariffs. So sometimes I guess you pander for your own good, don't you?
As you have done, Adam. I'm loving your Madiba shirt. And that is today's Worldview with Adam Gilchrist.
EWN Business.
All right, our final business update for the morning. Matteo, let's talk about investments. This is the Retail Property Group. How do you say their name again?
Hyprop.
Hyprop. They're reporting better earnings.
Yeah, Hyprop has a 42 billion rand portfolio and owns malls like Canal Walk, Clearwater, Hyde Park Corner and Rosebank Mall, amongst others. The company increased its dividend by 10% to 307 cents per share. Hyprop says its business in Eastern Europe delivered impressive growth, with income there increasing by 24% in euros and 20.5% in rands. Now, income from South Africa also saw an 11% increase, supported by the full-year contributions from the Table Bay Mall. The average monthly foot count across across Hyprop's 9 shopping centres in South Africa was maintained at 7.2 million over the year, with its tenants' turnover increasing by 5.5%.
Food producer Libstar producing strong results.
Yeah, and a lot happening for them. Good company. The food company Libstar has delivered its strongest first half performance since 2022 when the 6 months ended to June. Revenue increasing by 6.7% year on year to 6 billion rand, while operating profit was at 296 million. The food producer says it's considering a potential takeover bid. The owners of Lancewood Dairy and Denny Mushrooms say they received some potential buyer interest for all their issued shares. Talks are at an early stage, and the company says this will not affect their business. The news saw its shares jump 16.6%, pushing the stock to its highest level in over a year.
All right, your indicators?
The rand flat at 17 rand 35 against the US dollar, 20 rand 57 cents against the euro, and 23 rand 67 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,677 an ounce, or platinum is at $1,397. Brent crude at $68.44 a barrel. I'll bring you more business this afternoon.
8:30 exactly, your time check. Don't forget, coming up, another corporate that cares. In the meantime, Mbali Dlamini, what's happening in the capital?
Well, Bongani, a very good morning. The Tshwane municipality wants to replace overtime pay for VIP protection officers with a fixed 35,000 rand monthly allowance. The municipal council recently passed a motion to this effect, but the city still has to present it to the local labour forum for consultation before it implements the policy. VIP protection officers fall under the Tshwane Metro Police Department and are charged with the protection of the mayor, speaker and MMCs, amongst other high-profile people in the city. Thabiso Koba has more.
Since April this year, the Tshwane municipality has instituted a policy capping overtime at 40 hours a month per employee. However, a report tabled to the Tshwane Council shows VIP protection officers clock in more than 100 hours a month in overtime due to the nature of their jobs. To curb the excessive overtime claims, the municipality wants to pay each of the 63 VIP officers a fixed 35,000 rand a month allowance, irrespective of whether they work overtime, are sick or on leave. Republican Conference of Tshwane Councillor Lex Middelburg says not all MMCs require VIP protection.
Not everyone is entitled to this, and we can actually reduce the number of VIP protectors in service of the city, which obviously those parties in government don't want to do because they like being driven around in blue lights.
In the last financial year, VIP protection officers claimed 13.6 million rand in overtime. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Non-profit organisation Women and Men Against Child Abuse is calling for more to be done to curb a growing trend of child sexual exploitation. The plea comes after a Midrand couple was arrested for money laundering and the production and distribution of sexual material involving children. The organization's founder, Miranda Jordan Friedman, says many children's lives are changed forever by this heinous act.
I think something I wanted to share with you today was basically that we are here with a case that has approximately 19 million images of child sexual abuse. That is basically 19 million crime scenes. Children who are raped and sexually abused against their will.
In the courts now, lawyers representing communities on the Wild Coast say their dignity would be affirmed by consultations from oil and gas giant Shell before it explores their land for mining. The communities and environmental groups have approached the Constitutional Court to challenge a Supreme Court ruling that allows Shell to bring an application for seismic exploration. In their arguments, the communities have flagged the potential contamination of the sea during seismic blasting, and they have accused oil company Shell of not consulting them. Khomotso Modise has more.
The Wild Coast community has accused oil and gas companies Impact and Shell of being sarcastic in their approach towards a consultation process. They want the companies to be compelled to consult with the community before a decision is made on whether to award exploration rights. Their lawyer advocate Tembeka Ngugaitobi.
And that actually is correct because it's a lesson for others in the future that if you ride roughshod
over community interest. At a certain point, the judges of the Constitutional Court are going to tell you to go backwards.
As it stands, the Supreme Court has allowed Shell and Impact to apply for renewal of licenses for seismic exploration. But Toby argues that this decision must be overturned and the communities must be consulted first. Judgment in the matter has been reserved. Modise, Eyewitness News at the Constitutional Court.
And in Canada, celebrated children's author Robert Munsch has been approved for medically assisted dying. Munsch, who has 85 published books, was diagnosed with dementia in 2021 and also has Parkinson's disease. The author told the New York Times magazine that he has not decided on a date for his death yet, but says he will know when he starts having real trouble communicating. Canada first legalized euthanasia in 2016 for people with terminal illnesses. In 2021, the law was changed to include those with serious and chronic physical conditions, even in non-life-threatening circumstances. In your weather, a fine Wednesday in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures peaking at highs of between 25 and 29 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got bumper-to-bumper delays on the Mike North between Empire Road and Greyston Drive due to an accident seen after Corlett Drive. The M1 South is also backed up between the Baklu Interchange and Corlett Drive while travelling on the N3 North. Bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Elands Interchange and Modderfontein Road.
The top story in EWN, the Tshwane municipality wants to replace overtime pay for VIP protection officers with a fixed 35,000 Rand monthly allowance.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What was important for you that they take away from that?
The ANC was captured and took a wrong trajectory. Now we have arrived at a point where we can now deal with the challenges people are facing. And that's why the NEC met to look at the strategy to make sure, firstly, the service delivery countrywide. And we have been working on this for the last 6 months.
Reverend Frank Tukani.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Selling your car shouldn't be a mission. We Buy Cars gets it. Life's short, time's precious. Get an offer online and sell your car within a day from wherever it suits you. It's really that simple with We Buy Cars. Shopping for your new ride? Discover thousands of vehicles online or in-store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted way to buy and sell cars.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 1 kg D-Lite 37% fat spread tub, $34.99. Save 8 Rand with Spar Rewards. Or 1 kg Spar French, chili, garlic or chicken polony for $34.99 with Spar Rewards. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 22 September 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for real estate agencies, law firms, computer services, and more. Yakolin?
We saved a lot of money when we switched over from another insurance company to Business Outsurance. We've had some claims and they were friendly and efficient and paid out when they promised.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. 702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Bongani, after 3 kids, I put on a bit of weight, and my mom and my aunt are the harshest critics of weight. My aunt once said to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're going to look like your husband's aunt, and they will, if he's got people that are, other women or whatever, if he's with other ladies, they will be saying, okay, Rakhadi, where's your aunt? So yeah, that's a harsh truth, and it got me acting a bit on the weight loss. So I've lost a bit, but gained a bit. So yeah.
Good morning, Bongani. Hope you guys are good, including the 702 letters. How truth that I had to hear. Okay, about 3 months or so ago, my current girlfriend and her family be by Letici's. So during that time, there was a moment where me and my father and my uncle found ourselves isolated in the bar area. I don't know if it was by choice or by design. but they cornered me finally and told me straight, hey man, it's time for you to settle down. This one, yeah, you settle here. You need to be serious about this one. We'll do what we got to do on our side, but you just need to settle down.
And did you? Guys, complete the story. Right? He'd made someone pregnant. There's a whole family gathering and negotiation around that. And the uncles say, this is the one. So did she turn out to be the one? The thing about, and I get it that, sometimes perhaps it can be a rude awakening, if you will. But I almost think that's a generous interpretation. The thing about people who feel entitled to comment on your appearance, particularly when it comes to weight, is my experience is they're never satisfied. When you've gained weight, there are all sorts of reasons why they think you should lose it. When you lose weight, now the new thing is to think everybody's on Ozempic, right? And there's nothing wrong with being on Ozempic, to be clear. But even that's not good enough because you didn't lose the weight the way we think you ought to lose the weight, right? That's what people... And now there's all these... The new thing is for people to justify or to try and prove that, but it wasn't Ozempic. I'm like, who cares? Do you? So I think as much as we can talk about hard truths that wake us up or jolt us into action, also be just a little careful because not everybody will be satisfied no matter what you do.
Marabongani, choking on a date. Bongani. Bongani. How do you choke when you're on a date? You are supposed to be there dazzling her. Now she's rushing you off to hospital. Bongani. But anyways, it's a good thing you survived because we wouldn't be having such a good show had you not. Thanks for the good show, man. See you from Ivory Park.
EWN Sport.
See, I love that you think it was a her or a she.
Don't choke when you hear this. Sorry to break the news.
Choke on that.
We welcome our first-time listeners. We love them. Welcome.
No, but sometimes you just hear what you want to hear, don't you?
Right.
Tell us about the Proteas women. Great victory last night.
Let's hear from them because Marazan Kop was brutal with the bat, smashing an unbeaten 121 as the Proteas women beat Pakistan by 8 wickets in the first ODI. Tasman Brits was just as impressive with the 101. Player of the match, Cap, says it was tough in the middle.
Yeah, it was a funny wicket. It kept low at stages. It was slow. It wasn't easy to bat at all, but when I was bowling, it felt like you couldn't get a wicket as well. I felt like the partnership is probably what brought us over the line because I feel like when you are a new batter and you first walk in, it's not easy at all.
Sekhukhune topped the premiership table after last night's 3-1 win over Kaizer Chiefs. Grobler with 2 goals. They remain unbeaten in 6 games. Durban City beat Sibolele 2-0 to go 4th. Chipper moved off the bottom, beating Orbit 2-1. Tonight, Sundowns will be looking to move back top when they take on Galants. It's one of 4 games, including Stellenbosch await Amazulu. Polokwane Arrows and Richards Bay host TS Galaxy. Not in action tonight, Orlando Pirates. Their game with Magesi postponed due to CAF Champions League action. Opening night of the UEFA Champions League wins for Arsenal, Real Madrid, Spurs, Qarabağ and Eindhoven, while Juventus scored in the 96th minute for a 4-4 draw with Dortmund. Selected fixtures tonight, Ajax, Inter, Liverpool host Atletico Madrid, PSG welcomes Atlanta, and the big one, Chelsea away at Bayern Munich. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca.
We are very happy to be in this competition. 1 year ago we were playing Conference League playoff, so we are happy to be here. For sure, winning the Conference League and the Club World Cup help in different aspects. And then in terms of experience, all of us, when we start something, we are lack of experience. You have to start, and we're going to start tomorrow.
And at the World Athletics Champs in Tokyo, Zakiti Nene qualified for the men's 400-meter final, running 44.20, the 5th fastest time in top 8. The final is tomorrow afternoon. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
1 festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
As organizations navigate increasingly complex local and global landscapes, corporate affairs professionals are being called to do more than adapt. They're being called to lead. So on the 1st of October, the JSE Corporate Affairs Symposium 2025 will bring together industry leaders and change makers to explore the forces reshaping the profession, from artificial intelligence to public policy to stakeholder management. To book your seats, visit jce.co.za/CAS.
Naked people smell expensive because naked people spend less money on insurance premiums and more money on fancy French colognes. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
EWN Traffic.
It's 8:45 on the button. Let's catch up with traffic news. Amo, how are the roads looking at this hour?
Well, Bongani, unfortunately, the M1 North looks very bad. We've got that accident scene right near Caller Drive. It's causing heavy delays from Empire Road in the Parktown area. So do expect about a 30-minute hold up there. On top of this, you have to deal with the peak time delays on the M1 North right as you approach the Crown interchange from Boyson's Road. Traveling on the N3 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Airlines interchange and Modderfontein Road. There's also traffic that's heavily backed up along the N12 as well as the R24 West. Delays coming out of Barbara Road towards the Gludi's interchange. Roadworks are taking place along that route. And then on the N1 South, we've got some delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road just as you come out of the Brakfontein interchange, and that's due to peak time delays at this hour. We'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's time to eat, dance, and celebrate. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is serving up 2 days of world-class entertainment from international acts to SA's finest artists, alongside culinary masterpieces from the best local chefs. Bra's Fashion and Art take part in live cooking demos and soak up the festival's electric atmosphere. Saturday, 20 September is for you and your crew. Sunday, 21 September is for the family picnic vibes. DSTV is turning 30 and you're invited to the party. One ticket, endless experiences. Tickets at Ticketmaster. More on deliciousfestival.com.
Okay, truck 7, that has zero warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
My name is Cheryl. Yes, when you get older, you have to give up on so many things. You can't go out to discos anymore. You can't go out because it's going to look funny to people. What is this old person doing here? And you have to give up on so many things. You must eat properly. You must sleep in a better way and all of it. So that is my answer.
Yo, Bongani, for me, it's alcohol. I know it sounds bad, but even a glass just ruins my night, my evening. The following morning, I'm feeling terrible. I really did not anticipate having to give up alcohol the older I got.
The high body count, Bongani. As I'm getting older, I realize, it's just not worth it. In Sesotho, we say, "Lebelo le a fela tota e sale."
We were talking about those things you've had to give up as you are aging. We played a clip from Robert Redford, who said that one of the things he's had to reckon with, or at least when he was alive he had to reckon with, was the fact that as you age, there are some things that are just not wise to do as you get older. What have those been for you?
Naked people never skip leg day. Because naked people spend less time on insurance admin, they've got more time for lunges and Romanian deadlifts. With Naked, you can cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds. And it's all online, so that means no long phone calls. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and start working out. like naked people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP. Get naked.
This master doesn't just start. It wakes up. Anticipation. The wheel settles into your hands. Seat and mirrors adjust. You didn't ask. It just knew. Then the 3.3-liter turbo diesel clears its throat. And suddenly, you're flying, weaving through sunlight. Goosebumps on your commute. The feeling will find you in the Mazda CX-60. Wonder awaits.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Of course, between 9 and 12, you can expect the Clement Manyatela show. Both Clement and Mandy Wiener are going to be broadcasting outside the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, looking into those allegations of corruption and wrongdoing, really in the broader criminal justice system in South Africa. They are, of course, as you might imagine, setting up and getting ready to bring it all to you. This is going to be an explosive day. The star witness, the first witness, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, the first witness today. All of that to come. Stay listening to 702.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
It is a Wednesday and one of my favorite times of the week. I can tell you that for free because it's another edition of Corporates That Care. And really the idea is to put a spotlight on corporates, but also all citizens who are making this country a better place. In my experience, I found often corporates are a little shy about putting a spotlight on the good work that they do and the difference they are making in communities. So in a sense, this is an opportunity to do that and to really galvanize this society into finding ways to make a difference. And today, we're talking to Tracker, a company you will know well for protecting your vehicles, fleets, also, of course, helping protect futures. And today we've got Dylan Fernando, who is their CEO, in the studio to tell us about the good work they are doing, particularly leveraging on technology. A very good morning to you, Dylan, and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Bongani, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me this morning. I appreciate it.
I'm just going to ask you to come a little closer to the microphone so we can hear that deep voice of yours. There we go. I always start this conversation with a very simple question. If you've heard me do it once or twice. Why are you a corporate that cares?
I think that's an incredibly important question. And for me, it's twofold. One, because we have to. In the sense that we have been part of this incredible country for the last 29 years. South Africa has helped us grow into the organization that we are and has helped us be part of the economy of this country. So fundamentally, we now have to give back. We have to make sure that not just for the last 29 years, but for the future 29 years, we're participating in that conversation. Secondly, Bongani, Tracker is growing exponentially at the moment. We're employing at all levels within the organization, from top to bottom in essence. So what we're actually looking for as part of that growth fundamental is to make sure that we have the right people coming into the organization. We can either be part of the solution or we can be part of the problem or do nothing.
In fact, you were born out of necessity in a sense.
Absolutely.
In South Africa. You talk about being around for 29 years.
That's correct.
As we saw a wave of crime become quite a challenge for South Africans in the 1990s. That's what brought Tracker to this country.
You're absolutely correct. If I can look at some of the statistics, Tracker is a technology company fundamentally. We want to continue to participate with the people of South Africa. Currently at the moment, only 7% of grade 12s graduate in terms of a tertiary education from a STEM perspective. For us to continue to grow, for us to be part of this society, continue to do what we're doing, we need to make sure that those rates increase. And as I mentioned earlier, Bongani, we can be part of the problem, but we have to be part of the solution.
You're being so bashful because we'll get to the good work that you're doing. I wanted you to tell the story of Tracker because, in a sense, you have been part of the difference. So even before we get to sort of your social initiatives, your very existence was in fact to solve a problem. And how has that gone, that journey? Tell us about that journey these last 29 years.
So if you look at where we started from, humble beginnings, few people in a facility in Randburg, that has exponentially grown. We have been part of the growth of South Africa. It's good and it's bad, and predominantly good, I think. We have now become part of the ingrained fabric of the country. We look after not just the asset, but more importantly, the people that go with the asset. So yes, we're renowned for being a car recovery company, but we do so much more than that.
Can you give me a number of the cars you look after? Or is that a secret business? Secret.
Let's just say it's over 1 million.
It's over 1 million. That's extraordinary, hey? In 29
over 1 million
years.
subscribers, correct.
Right. Now, one of the things you are looking at, of course, is education and being a part of the solution, as you say. Tell us about this MathU project that you are part of.
So in 2017, we became a proud sponsor of a company called MathU. And again, humble beginnings, one person driving an organization.
And to be clear, not the name MathU.
No, it's
but
math with a U. Correct. Correct. And so what's happened over the last since 2017 is that MathU type of organization has grown. MathU fundamentally is a AI tool developed by South Africans in South Africa for the benefit of South African learnership. So we're proud to be associated with them because they're fundamentally changing the way that we as a society look at our learnership and bringing them forward.
So the focus is particularly on grades 7 to 12.
Correct.
And making sure they're well equipped for mathematics and physical science.
Completely correct. As I mentioned earlier, as a technology, those are the kind of skills we're looking for. And we have to start learning and teaching at a young age to make sure that people are set for the right things as they get older.
So what does MathU do?
MathU fundamentally does a whole host of things, but it's really about the development of learnerships to focus them on, as you've mentioned, the maths and physical science as part of their education.
How's it different from traditional tutoring models?
MathU has an incredible AI learning tool. And we talk so much about AI in our society these days as it gets bigger.
Because it's so much more than just ChatGPT,
it's
right?
so much more than just ChatGPT. I had the blessing to be able to watch a demonstration of their programs to some of the learnerships. The tool they've developed is so intuitive. It senses how you are as a learner. Are you stressed about the conversation?
Oh, wow.
Do you understand the process? You can ask the same question in many, many, many different formats, and it will still participate with you to get you to the outcome, of course, which is, of course, understanding where you need to go.
Are there any stories that come to your mind about its success or something that illustrates exactly what you've just said?
So I think that the important part for me is if I look at where we started in 2017, the learnership was limited because we were going through a process of building up both MathU and our association as tracker with them. If you look at where we are right now, we have Johannesburg State School, Tembisa High School, 18 other very large schools in Soweto that we're participating with. We have over 1,000 students benefit from the tracker MathU participation in 2025, and that will see exponential growth over the next few years.
And I imagine with this kind of tutoring system, and that opens all sorts of doors for real world opportunities, maybe not even later in life, but immediately if you think of things like bursaries and access to higher education.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. So for us, we're desperate for STEM type students coming into the business.
The country, really.
And the
yeah?
country, absolutely. Yeah. To mention your point, we've only got 40,000 professional engineers in this country and 40 odd million, depending on which number you want to pick. And that's a problem for us. For us to grow the economy of this country and be part of that conversation, we need to make sure that STEM goes through the organization.
All right, so if I'm a school principal or even a STEM subject teacher listening to Dylan Fernando right now, how do I participate in this MathU and tracker tutoring system?
You're welcome to reach out to MathU. MathU are reaching out to, conversely, they're reaching out to an awful lot of the schools in the disadvantaged areas. So it's a two-way conversation, but of course, as part of who we are at Tracker, the ability to call through to me or through to our wonderful head of HR, Grace DeParley, we will make sure that those discussions are passed on and participated in.
So go to the MathU website or
Absolutely.
even Tracker to get more details around that. What are you hoping out of this? I mean, you've just mentioned engineers and the shortage thereof, but what kind of workforce could come out of something like this?
one that's fundamentally technology based. If we go back to what MathU actually does and focuses on at the moment, it's mathematics and physics. I'm sure at some stage it will roll out other particular STEM-based subjects. So fundamentally, for us to participate with them and bring those talents into our organization, we are looking for technology-based people coming into Tracker.
You said earlier that fundamentally Tracker is a technology company. Right. What excites you about some of the developments, some of the things that are in the pipeline, not only for Tracker, but in terms of South African innovation that you are aware of?
So we've always been known for recovery of vehicles, but we are so much more than that. So we've launched a product, for example, called SAFE, SAYF, and SAFE looks after the person. So it gives you the ability to know where your children are. It gives you the ability, if anything goes wrong, to be able to come and recover your family and your asset. So Tracker is moving towards a more holistic approach to the ability to look after us as a family, us as an asset base, us in South Africa as people. It's not just about recovering a car anymore.
All right, appreciate that, and appreciate you coming in and the work that you are doing, particularly when it comes to education. Anything that brightens the future of our children is to be welcome. Dylan Fernando, the CEO of Tracker, a corporate that cares.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
That brings us to the end of this edition of 702 Breakfast. Stay listening to 702 because we're going to bring you everything you need to know out of the Madlanga Commission as it happens. It gets underway at 10 o'clock. Clement Manyatela and Mandy Wiener up next from the Commission in Pretoria.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Umkhonto Wesizwe Party is expected to picket outside the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria this morning. This is where day one of the Justice College in Pretoria this morning. This is where day one of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry kicks off today. The inquiry has been tasked with ventilating allegations of corruption in the criminal justice system made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The MK Party is trying to block the inquiry in the courts, saying it is a violation of the Constitution. Tomorrow, the party will be hearing the outcome of its application to have the establishment of the commission declared unlawful. Meanwhile, strict security measures have been put in place ahead of the start of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today. Commission spokesperson Jeremy Michaels.
There is very, very tight security in place, and obviously given the very sensitive nature of the Commission's work, given the very serious allegations of corruption and infiltration by criminal syndicates.
In Cape Town now, some taxi users in Mfuleni have raised their frustrations with the shutdown of a route to Somerset West. From this morning, 10 taxi routes between Mfuleni and Khayelitsha to Somerset West, Lwandle and Nomzamo have been closed due to ongoing violence. Several people, including commuters, were killed or injured in attacks linked to a dispute between taxi associations Kata and Kodeta. Ntutu Zelonene reports.
Taxi users who normally travel from Mfuleni to Somerset West are frustrated this morning due to the shutdown of this route following deadly attacks on taxi operators and commuters in recent weeks. Metrorail and Golden Arrow bus service have been roped in to provide extra capacity. However, this commuter has told Eyewitness News that the route closure has created a challenge for many.
The route that the bus is taking is very long, and it takes with the bus 1.5 hours, and then with the taxi it's only 30 to 40 minutes. Therefore, we're going to be late at our workplaces.